Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to week number 3 of NACE Star League. We're starting the week off strong like we always do with Zeptalins and Powder, bringing you 4 series of Rocket League back to back to back to back, kicking things off strong. West Virginia University, a dominant force in NACE up against Messiah Esports, a team I yet have to see. But Powder, going into this, man, how excited are you just to be back for another great week in NACE?
I'm excited. You know, we got a situation similar to last week where we've got some familiar faces coming out on deck, and we've got some new ones as well. So a lot to experience here tonight. Like we said, West Virginia University versus Messiah Esports up first, followed by Lackawanna College, another familiar face, against Michigan Tech. Made a deep run in the fall season. After that, George Mason, foe as always against the University of Dayton. And then to wrap up the night, Siena Heights University versus Shawnee State, which, I think we've casted Shawnee State probably the most out of any other school on NACE. We've got to see them plenty of times, and I'm excited to see how they've improved coming into this spring.
Yeah, without a doubt. They've got to be up there. We've seen this team quite a few times, or at least, what they used to be. I haven't seen them yet this season. Maybe there's new players, maybe there's new play styles. Who knows? But I couldn't have said it better, Powder. Lots of familiar faces and lots of new ones. This is going to be a very fascinating back and forth matchup. Now, going off general statistics here, it's Messiah's turn to be the team up against West Virginia.
Yeah.
And that is not usually where you want to find yourself. So hopefully Messiah can give us a great series, can turn things around, become a very strong force, give West Virginia a run for their money. But if we're just going off general basics, West Virginia is probably going to stomp like they always do.
Right, Jaco, Xander, Just Drew, and Mesvo going against the exact same team we got to see last week. Angel, Deck, and Rots falls on the roster as well. This is such a tough ask for Messiah University. They're coming in at 1-0 off a Game 5 victory in week 1. After that, they had a bye. In West Virginia, we saw them stomp their opponent last week. This is a tough ask for Messiah.
Yeah, this is going to be a very difficult ask for Messiah to go up against some of the greatest teams in Collegiate Rocket League right now. Some of the greatest players, They all happen to share the same team. This is a squadron we see share with the best of the best, go up. I know that last week they had 15 points in their best of 3 series. It was a 15-3 as the overall game score, and that's just in a single week. So they're definitely looking to shake those numbers up here. They 3-0'd Lubbock last week. They won a 3-0 Messiah this week.
And I'll be completely honest, I'm expecting that to happen. When you have West Virginia University, another top collegiate team, consistently making top placements in all collegiate leagues, you just kind of expect every match until you get later on in the season to be a 3-0. So I apologize to Messiah. I actually got to play them earlier on in the semester. They're a good roster, but when you go against West Virginia, it's just a different story.
Absolutely. West Virginia, a powerhouse team. And they're looking at a freshman, a sophomore, and a senior. So Rots, being one of those members, is going to be a senior this year. Wants to make it a big one, right? West Virginia usually does not struggle to give us big plays and amazing moments, and things aren't going to be changing yet. Ball control in their favor early. Xander gets a pass into center field. Angel there to answer it out, and 15 seconds gone. West Virginia haven't broken a sweat yet, but Messiah feeling pretty confident, at least batting back and forth punch for punch with this team.
Right, week 1, or I should say last week with West Virginia, we saw them score within 15 seconds in game 1. They're still held scoreless, and they're really not being able to get onto offense. Messiah has held the ball for the vast majority of the first 35 seconds or so, and they're still attacking as Rots does everything possible to break out. Angel finally finishes off. Good cutoff from Xander to avoid the shot. Deck still in the midfield, open space for Rots to work with. Off the sidewall, now it's Deck pushing it forward. Rots for the redirect. Down towards a teammate, but a little bit miscommunicated. The shot will be high. An open net to follow it up on. Slow roller, Jaco. Get there in time and just take it off to the corner.
Demolition from Rots opens up the door as Just Drew falls early. Angel has to play a bit of an awkward offense, waiting for a teammate to get into place. Deck does find it. Phenomenal shot in off the corner. First point on the board. And West Virginia, we said it, but I'll say it again. Maybe a little bit longer than they thought it would take, but hey, better late than never. You're still up by 1.
Right, and the placement as well. They know exactly where to place the ball, and this time top left corner, no defender. There's a shot at catching up to that one. Early 1-0 lead for West Virginia. Like you said, maybe a little longer than they intended, but when you're West Virginia, you really have that time to waste. You're the better skilled team coming in. They can take their time if they need to. However, if Messiah can get back to that offense they had earlier on, I'm excited to see what they can do with it.
90 seconds have come and gone, only a single point on the board. Messiah playing that defensive play, slow play style in order to make sure West Virginia can't really run away with it, because I know many times we would see West Virginia last week. It was like they scored really early, then it was usually answered back, and then West Virginia would just put like 8 down in the last minute of the game. So maybe that narrative is a little different today, but Messiah, they're definitely trying to keep it a low scoring affair. They don't want the pressure to stack up against them because, as all of us know, West Virginia, a very momentum heavy team. If you let it in once, they're going to continue slamming it down until they put as many points on the board as they can in this short 5-minute time.
On to offense, though, is Messiah with a chance in the air. No one up in time. It's given away to Angel. Over towards Deck, towards a wide open net, and it's in. Deck stretching it to 2-0 off of a little bit of a miscue getting back.
Deck finds it 2-0. Like you said, a little bit of a miscommunication is not what you want to find. Nobody's in front of that open goal, and Jayco just does not have the boost to get there fast enough. We're just shy of entering the second half of this first game, and West Virginia already finding themselves up 2-0. Very comfortable spot to be in going into the second half.
Down into the midfield, it is Xander up towards the net. However, Rotz is there to cut it off. He'll stick with it. Not a lot of boost, mostly just faking the play. It bites Jayco. Now it's Angel pushing up, running out of boost and taken off the field by just Drew. This can be how Messiah can find their way onto offense, is with demolitions just like that there. However, now it's Angel pushing forward again, not given the backboard. Smart from Messiah to cut it off. However, the pass is still there. Shot, though, is off. Jayco trying to get it cleared out. Xander will try to finish it, but gets beaten out. How's Jayco out of desperation, just puts it up. Deck there with plenty of time. Can't quite double it home. Rotz coming in on the rebound, still wide. Messiah holding strong, but they need to get the other way.
Jayco has ball control, stolen away by Deck in that center field. And Messiah's done a couple of things right. Is a goal going to be one of them? Rotz, a phenomenal defensive blockade there. Keeps him at that goose egg. Only 106 seconds remain. Jayco has the setup. Nobody's there for the follow-through, and it's an open goal from the side of Messiah from coast to coast. But the crossbar says nope on that one, and West Virginia does not find their third goal of the matchup. Still hungry for it.
Messiah needs to slow things down. That whole play was set up from a rush jump from just Drew. And on the back line, a little bit rushed as well. They tried to get it out earlier on, but were a little too eager for it. Luckily, though, scoring has not happened as often. However, Deck's shot towards Angel will find its way in, and West Virginia stretches it to 3.
West Virginia's third goal on the board. Angel, their first goal of the evening. A very strong start. 3 on the board, 75 seconds remain in game 1. Going to come to a close in a relatively dominant fashion, I believe. There definitely seems to be a pressure stacked against the side of Messiah, and this is just kind of statistically, mathematically, mechanically, whatever you'd like to call it. This is absolutely our expectation on the side of West Virginia. This is not a team that slows it down. This is not a team that pulls punches because it's only week 3. This is a team that's going to score as many times as they can, as often as they can. They've got a big shoe to fill, right? They're a team that has a very large kind of lore around them, and they always want to show that they can come out at that level of greatness no matter what week it is.
Messiah here trying to build up an offense. Good decision from Jayco to try to go for the bump on the goalie. Keeps the offense going. Just Drew still aggressive for it. Playing it off the back wall. Angel taking off the field, opening up space a little bit more. Barely cut off by Jayco. Xander towards the ground. Bumps all over the field, but West Virginia fighting straight through them. With less than 30 seconds, they maintain the offense. Can't quite get the flip reset, but pushed up, keeps it going. And Messiah is going to have to go back to the drawing board for game 2. West Virginia, I mean, their offense wasn't as potent as I was expecting it to be. Certainly less goals than what we saw last week. Oh, but with aggression like that, they'll certainly find their way into the net. They push it to 4.
Yeah, that is the 4th point on the board. 7 seconds remain. All 3 members of West Virginia putting at least 1 point on the board in game number 1 is a great way to kick things off, not only for the literal win, but just in terms of momentum. Clearly, nobody's feeling rusty, nobody's feeling shaky. They're ready to come out and establish another dominance here in week number 3. It's their 2nd week in a row on stream. They 3-0'd Lubbock last week with an overall score of 15-3. Very dominant, very impressive, and very West Virginia. They win game number 1, already 1/3 of the way done with their goals here tonight.
Great start from West Virginia. You know, pretty much what we expected, other than the fact it was a little lower scoring than what we expected. And it was a 4-0, so it was a pretty crushing victory. However, Messiah, at first, they held extremely strong. It took a little over a minute for West Virginia to really find any offense. However, once they did is when they started to find the net. Messiah needs to find a way to continue the offense, because when that was happening, they were finding more success. They were obviously finding more offense, just unable to come away with anything.
The offense is definitely not the name of the game for the side of Messiah, and you go way back to every single week we do this. It's that broken record story. Demolitions felt very strong. Physicality felt very strong. It made West Virginia, I don't want to use the word shaky, but they weren't scoring as clean, as consistent as we normally see, and I think a lot of that has to do with Messiah's in-your-face play style. If they continue to look for these demolitions, if they continue to look for this hyper-aggression out the gate, there can be a lot of success for them down the line, or at least keeping this a low-scoring affair. It's crazy to look at West Virginia win a game 4-0 and go, wow, it's crazy, they only scored 4 times, but there is clearly something working, because we've seen West Virginia put 11, 12, 13 points down in a single game. You've limited them down to 4, so you've got a strong method here. You've just got to find what that last piece is that's kind of helping you, that's kind of delaying you from putting goals on the board.
Right, I'd say they got to keep up with that aggression. I really liked what they were doing on offense when they were going for even air bumps, trying to get anything they could to clear up space. Didn't work out exactly how they wanted. Obviously, they didn't come away with anything, but if they keep that up, they might find West Virginia more and more shaky, be able to find their way into the net.
Dak has ball control early. Angel goes for a setup. It's a waterfall shot down. Nobody's there to hit it, but West Virginia not beating themselves up off of it. It feels like they're kind of going for I don't know, a misdirection circumstance going on. They've gone for 2 goals in quotes with intentionally no follow-up, and I wonder if they're trying to condition Messiah into playing exclusively defense, because once a team starts to turtle down and only plays defense, the other team's odds of winning, I think, spike, personally.
They certainly do, and it feels like that's what West Virginia tends to try to do. They try to force you to play defense 24/7. They'll hold the ball however they can. They won't necessarily always go for the shot. If it's not a smart decision, they're just going to keep the offense going as long as possible to wear you down, wear the mentality down, and just keep barraging you with shots later on.
One minute off the clock once again. West Virginia does not find themselves in any point advantage state, but they're certainly feeling good as it is only a 0-0 after all. Here's Drew with some more of that physicality onto Rotz. Demolitions are always tough, because if there's not a communication on it, it's essentially worthless. Your teammates have to know it's coming. They have to know who you're demoing and where the ball is going to be in that moment, because by the time you say, I demoed whoever, they've already respawned. They're already back into the fray, and I think we just got a good example of that from the side of Messiah. Demolition, great. Follow-up, lackluster.
Still, though, holding strong. 50, though, goes in favor of West Virginia. Towards Angel, towards the net, and just wide. A good pop-out from the defense to get things towards the other side. Dak dangerously off his own back wall. Xander racing in, not hesitating. Angel has to play this slow. Jayco up, and now Drew has a follow-up. Plays the back wall as well. Dak just waiting on the back wall, doing anything he can to guard it. Just a bit high. Jayco on the stop. Will look to get back the other way. It was a good offensive set from Messiah. They've got to get back to it quickly, though. You do not want to let West Virginia build up this offense for too long. All the way shots like that rip in. Luckily for them, no one in there to rebound the ball. Rotz, though, will find it through the last defender. Get the first goal of game 2.
Very clean from Rotz there, and I think you really kind of highlighted a great point that they put the exclamation point on the end of. West Virginia, if you let them start playing that offense, that pepper down play style, it's one of their favorites. They will go shoot on goal as many times as it takes, but they will not stop until they put that goal down, and West Virginia able to do that. Not exactly early, but I'm such a firm believer in the phrase, better late than never. Jumping into the second half, they're up by 1, and that 1 is all you need to get it done.
And typically 1 is all we need to see from West Virginia to build up the offense more and more. Here they go again. 2 go for it. Left side shot cut away by just Drew. Now back pass towards Rotz. Plenty of time for it. Up towards Deck. Plenty of time for him as well. And now plenty of time for the follow-up. Messiah needs to cut off this spacing. They finally do. However, Angel will scoop it right up instantly. Gives it away to Xander. Has a shot on. 2 go up for it. 1 gets the stop. It's Deck. Does get the follow-up for the clear. Coast call for West Virginia, but still they hold that one goal lead.
1 goal lead is all they need. 2 minutes remaining. West Virginia ball control into Rotz once again. Takes it up into the far corner. Wants to go up and over. 1 defender down into a second, but the bump is there. Ball control stolen away. Dak has to recover. Plan B now in action. Xander throws it off into the corner and gives Messiah just a moment to shine before their light is stomped out by Angel. Once again, another goal online for West Virginia. 2-0, 1:06 left on the clock, 106 seconds.
And it's just great placement again from the defense. Xander's not even in a bad position. He's along the back wall, knows the high shot's coming, but Angel places it far right side. He can't get up to it. West Virginia now holds a 2-0 lead, getting late into game number 2. Messiah, the offense has been a little bit better, but unfortunately for them, the shot's just not enough yet. And Xander giving possession away. It's a good idea to go for it like that, but you got to keep it close enough to keep the possession going. Now it's a counterattack from West Virginia. Rot's left side shot. Jaco there in time. Angel quick to it, keeping the offense going. This is what we mean. They don't always go for the shot. Sometimes they'll play it away to build up the offense, and it works out just like that as Deck slams it home to get a 3-0 lead.
3-0 lead on the board. It's a strong start for game number 2. Deck, the first member of West Virginia to hit 3 points in the series so far. Both Angel and Rotz have scored 2 of their own. We're looking at 7 points in total for this team. Messiah still waiting to find that first. West Virginia, an absolute masterclass of how to play this game right now.
Towards the side wall, it's just Drew giving away possession again. Deck with control, slightly gives it away to Jaco. Rotz keeping it close for Angel. Wide open back wall. Good cutoff, though, from just Drew. He races in again to get the stop. Unfortunately, though, time really running out now, and they need to get 3, and the offense has not been there for the last minute or so. Deck to keep the offense going for West Virginia. Just Drew, the first man upfield, taken off the field. Chases the corner boost. Can't get there in time, but is challenged out. 35 seconds left on the clock. They got to get something going instantly. Still only 3 shots to their name, and that's the same amount of goals that they need. They need to look towards game 3 at this point if they want anything. Still being held scoreless.
20 seconds here. Game number 2, definitely feeling like it's going to come to a close without a goal online. Now, I'm 95% sure this would be the first on-stream shutout of the season so far if West Virginia can manage to end this game with nothing on the board for Messiah and the following. If they can win it in a 3-0 fashion, that is a dominance that we're not going to be seeing from a lot of other teams, and it just goes to show that West Virginia, when they're here for blood every single week. Rotz tries to put a 4th one on the board, but it looks like it might be a bit of a garbage ball. Hits the ground. West Virginia 3-0 victory in game number 2.
This is more or less what we're expecting. West Virginia,
Absolutely.
They're not having to do anything really that fancy to take down Messiah. Everything they are doing is working. The shots are there. They have 16 shots in this game alone. When you go 3 for 16, typically you want to see a better shooting percentage. But with this many shots and so little offense for Messiah, it's working out for West Virginia. Messiah, they did get back onto offense a couple times, and I liked their attack.
Yeah.
It's just not nearly enough at this point.
It's just not going to be enough, and I think a lot of this has to do with general base mechanics. So a lot of people watching are probably like, wow, these guys really don't like Messiah. And no, that's not it at all. Messiah has a lot of great value. They have a lot of great things to bring to the table, but it's just going up against, this is like Hercules versus the Hydra, right? Like everybody else that went against the Hydra lost. Hercules was the first to do it. West Virginia is absolutely the Hydra in this circumstance. They're going to take down almost every team we see in NACE Star League, and I think that will be a pattern that continues to happen. Off the top of my head, there are a few teams I can even think of to give them a run for their money, let alone take them down, and unfortunately haven't seeing Messiah until right now. I just don't think we're going to be seeing that, at least not here in week 3.
Right. I don't see Messiah coming back. At this point, I think they do have a good shot to get a goal in game 3 and at least end the perfect sweep. West Virginia, I'm not saying they're going to get lazy in game 3, but they might slow things down. Let's face it, they know that they've got the series more or less in the bag, barring a miracle comeback. Yeah. So they might let things go a little bit defensively. However, Messiah, they're still going to have to work for it. West Virginia has not made it easy for them to this point, and they're certainly not in game 3. They need to fight if they want to get this goal and try to maybe mount a comeback and even take away a game.
Rotz goes for an early goal once again. Xander there to block it out, playing an aerial play, but I guarantee there's no boost left in the tank to make that happen. Just Drew almost gets a freebie roll in. Angel smacks it away, disrupts once again. 15 seconds missing, 2 shots on goal already, 1 for each team, and nobody able to score yet. Angel from coast to coast, but that crossbar disrupts that play every time we've seen it today. Can there be an answer back from Messiah in game number 3?
It's funny, we said it between games, West Virginia not doing anything fancy, and Angel certainly tried to that time. Deck, though, more to the basics. Low shot will find his way in, only 35 seconds in.
Another moment is going to happen in favor of West Virginia. Messiah still sitting at that 0, and WVU definitely feeling good. Now, they don't have to score anymore, but that's certainly not going to stop them, right? They're going to go for as many points as they can. Deck puts it out down early. It's answered back by Messiah in that same breath, and it's going to be keeping at that 1-0 score line. West Virginia, they know that 1-0 isn't somewhere you can really feel comfortable. You need to score at least 2, 3, 4. Then you're like, okay, we've got a pretty dominant lead here. We might be able to pump the brakes a little bit.
With Rots having to avoid some demolitions on the back line, does so successfully, and a teammate comes in to get the offense back. Xander towards an open net. Angel scooping it up just in time. Keep it close to get the clear. Gives it away to Rots. They get it to the sidewall, taking their time with it. To the air, Jaco on the miss. Rots, nothing left in the tank. Pushed back the other way now. His deck towards the back wall. Playing it low and just keeping the dribble across the field. Can he get just Drew? Can't beat out Jaco. A minute and a half in. Certainly going for the fancy plays here. Soft roll of a shot. It's Deck now on the follow-up towards Angel. Trying to angle this one down off the crossbar and out. And that crossbar comes back to bite him once again.
That crossbar just does not want West Virginia to get some clips today. It is just over and over, that knock away from the crossbar. It's always funny because we treat the crossbar as if it's a living, breathing thing, but now it's just an inanimate bar sitting at the same spot it always does on the goal. However, so many of these teams, they're angling just a little bit off. 2 minutes off the clock, 3 minutes remain. Saya still looking for that first goal, but West Virginia almost working to make sure it doesn't happen. They want to make sure they go for a perfect sweep here in week number 3.
Yeah, almost a little bit of a fake here from the pass. He flips out of the way. It's actually Angel to the air. Takes the shot. No one able to catch up to it. West Virginia rolling here in this series. Certainly on their way to a victory. At this point, it really is just a matter of whether Messiah can get a goal back and at least save face in that regard.
Ball control already in favor of West Virginia. Deck wants to find another goal. Rots there to clean it up. Passes it in from center up to the corner. Deck has the boost, has the lineup. Where's the follow through? Waiting for Angel to strike, but Xander makes it just a little bit faster. Half the game gone. And with Rots getting that final goal once again, it's a clean one from center field to give them a 3-0 lead as we jump into the second half of game number 3.
And what a pass from Deck too. Rots instantly reads it. Well communicated between teammates there. Like you said, just past halftime, 3-0 lead West Virginia. Completely dominating this series, and Messiah just not finding much other than early on. 2 shots to their name here in game 3. Just being stuck on offense once again. Already 9 shots on the board for West Virginia. Could be 10 here from Rots. It's Deck coming in. Angel will have to turn back for it, but the rotations from West Virginia clean enough to keep offense on. Now here's Rots to keep it going again. It's actually a fake towards Deck. Gives it back to Rots. Back to Deck again. Can't catch up to it. Jaco will keep it close on the clear. Deck cutting him off, though. Can't quite get the possession back. However, it's Angel to push it back into their offensive end.
Angel steals it into the offensive end, keeps Jaco and Xander in the dark on that one. Deck, a phenomenal setup. Disrupted by Jaco again. Forces this team onto a quick defense. 103 seconds left on the clock. Rots might have an open goal, but he whiffs it off to the left side. Nothing yet. Xander, hard clear down. Angel catch into center field. Bounces into no man's land, but Jaco there to grab it out. Just drew a sloppy pass down into the far side of the corner, and it was right into the clutches of West Virginia once again. Here's a setup into center field. There's the pass, and it's a whiff on an open goal. Second try doesn't work. Third try gonna fall short. Do we see a fourth? We don't. Messiah blocks out 3 tries in a row and keeps us at that 3-0 scoreline. Only 75 seconds remaining.
West Virginia going for the passing plays here late in the series. Haven't gotten many to work out for them quite yet, other than the third goal we see on the board right now. Jaco can't get to it. Teammate makes it an even challenge, but nobody's up to follow. Instead, Rod's giving it to the back wall. Just Drew on a clear, put to the side by Deck. A little too hard, gives it to the middle. Getting chased down as well. Awkward play, but Rots is there first, and Jaco on the whiff. Rots is going to let this one go to the side, waste time a little bit, and get the pass, build up those assists. That's Angel to finish it off.
That is Angel putting the 11th point on the board for West Virginia University. Dominance through and through. We need 1 goal per 10 seconds from Messiah just to tie things up. And as the numbers dictate, we haven't seen a goal in 14 minutes. I don't think we're going to be seeing one in 42 seconds. This is West Virginia showing the rest of the teams, yeah, the break was fun, but we're back and we're here to win. They just come out dominant. They paint that target on their back, but they're the type of team to welcome those that try to hit that target.
Yeah, even more of a dominating victory at this point than previously, we saw last week, 30 seconds left for Messiah to find anything. Can they get the challenge here? They can. Jaco looking for the read on the side wall, puts it down. Just Drew off to the side now. It's Deck, though, cleaning it up again. Xander only can give it away to Angel, who has open space, goes over one. You get the flip reset. It's a double down pass. Drew on the clear. Either way, it's not going to matter. Cleared back again. A perfect sweep out of West Virginia University, just rolling in Nace through 3 weeks.
This is what this team is expected to do. Week number 2, they 3-0 with a 15-3 overall score. Week number 3, they 10-0. That's incredible. 25 points on the season so far on stream that we have seen. Only been scored on 3 times. None of those 3 coming from what we saw today. Powder, it is a dominant part of the reason I love watching West Virginia, because this team, they never pull a punch. They come out, they give 150% every time we see them, and it's always a blast.
They do. They always are pushing. They're always trying for the net. They're always on offense, too. They just refuse anybody to be able to get back the other way. We saw Messiah down there for a couple quick spurts, and I liked what I saw. I liked the aggression early on in the series. But as the series wore on, Messiah got less and less opportunities. We saw them go for less demolitions. And with that, West Virginia just controlled the time of possession. With that, Messiah really had no chance to be able to come back.
Yeah, there was not the answer they needed in the cards, and unfortunately for them, that's all we're going to see from them here this week. We're going to go ahead and throw it to a super short break. We're going to try to get an interview with somebody from West Virginia. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Hey there, everybody, and welcome back to the Star League. If you're just joining us, you just missed out on a very dominant 3-0 series from West Virginia. Just being West Virginia at this point, I really can't say that enough. A very strong team, and we have the opportunity now to speak with Angel from the side of West Virginia, and I'm very excited to jump into that interview. Angel, can you hear us?
Yep, can hear you all good.
Perfect. Yeah, so, I mean, it's the basics again, right? Another win for West Virginia. Y'all are always kind of at the top of the upper echelon, but putting, I believe, 11 points, 10 or 11 points on board this week, is that just, does that kind of lend itself more to your considered play style of, yes, we like to be aggressive, or do you think you just found more opportunities than normal today?
I think we like to be an aggressive team. I think that's no surprise to anybody. We definitely like to put up some goals. I like to be on offense. I always say that. I think maybe we should have gotten a little more goals, but, we'll take 11 or 12 for this week.
Yeah, that was going to be my question coming in as well, is because when we watch you play, we consistently talk about how you guys just refuse the other team the ability to get back onto offense themselves. Is that you guys' game plan, or is that just basically a consequence of you guys' rotations, or are you going for all offense all the time?
I think it's a mixture of both. I think the best defense is offense. So if you never let them out of their half, then you never do have to play defense. So I think our strong offense helps us have strong defense, and I think both of those go hand in hand and really help us get the high-scoring games we want, and then also keep a low shot percentage on the other team, stuff like that.
And then next week, you guys go against Old Dominion University, from what I'm seeing. A tougher team here in Ace. We've gotten to see them on stream before. What are you guys doing to prepare for a tougher team like that? We've seen you guys kind of steamroll a couple teams in a row, if we're being completely honest. So what are you doing to prepare for a little bit of a tougher team next week?
Just keeping our heads in the game, scrimming this week as normal, playing CRO. Got a lot of matches this week, of course, and just keeping our heads down, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is kind of a for fun question, because it really doesn't impact anything. It's not exactly about today's matchup, but I'm curious, kind of looking at you guys being a very successful team. From a lot of teams, we'll hear kind of, oh yeah, we VOD review our opponents, we whatever. We come into the series with a game plan, and then on the other flip of that, we run into teams that are like game by game, minute by minute. Is that, do you find your team leaning more towards one of those than the other, or are you guys just kind of somewhere in between?
I think it depends on the situation. I think we do fall a little bit more towards the game by game. I think we go in with a game plan, and then if we need to, we switch it up going into the next game. If there's something really important, we can do goal by goal, minute by minute, that kind of thing. But I think we tend to stick towards the game by game approach. I think you can kind of see that in our play style too. When something's not working, the next game we usually come out and play a little bit differently, or quite a big change.
Yeah, absolutely. One more quick question. We'll let you hit the road so we can get our next series up and running. Is there anybody you want to give a thank you or a shout out to just while you're here with us?
Of course, WVU, I always say that. The family, of course, all the players I play with, WVU in general. Yep, just want to say thank you to them and the family.
Perfect. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. Big congrats. I'm sure we'll be chatting again soon.
Thank you, guys.
And with that, folks, we're going to go ahead and throw it to another break. We're going to get our next series set up for you. It's going to be Michigan Tech, a team we have not yet had the chance to see, up against Lackawanna College. Some familiar and very talented faces. We'll see you right back here on Star League in just a couple of minutes. What's up, everybody? I hope you all missed us just as much as we missed you. We are so excited to jump into series number 2 tonight that we're literally just going to run it down. It's going to be Lackawanna College, like we talked about a moment ago, against Michigan Technological University. Lackawanna, they're bringing out some familiar, some great faces. Michigan Tech, they've got a lot to prove here, Powder. This is our first time seeing them on stream.
Right, I think we've gotten to see them back in the fall semester, but not quite yet in the spring. Aoka, JK, Fashizzle, and Zach, same team we got to see last week against Tater, Stewie, and Ski Boy. Long-standing roster at Michigan Technological University, only taken down by Rochester University last fall. I'm excited to see what they can do. It was a deep run for them last semester. Let's see how they can face off against a very common team that we see here in NACE. It's Tater going for a wide open double tap, and Michigan Tech starting the semester off strong.
Oh my goodness, what a clean opener from Michigan Tech. We talk about all the time teams making their first appearance on stream. You've got some big shoes to fill. You've got to prove that your program is worth it, that they're running out some power players. And Tater said, hey, yo, listen up. I need 5 seconds to prove that point right here against Lackawanna. I got to talk about Lackawanna. That's going to strike some fear in their hearts because they are coming in this week after a 3-0 victory over James Madison last week, 11-5. On the full series as the overall score. Michigan Tech comes in and gets 20% of that 5 already on the board in 5 seconds. That's maybe going to have Lackawanna reconsider some approaches.
Not only that, Lackawanna College, it was not an upset last week, but it was a win that we did not see as dominating as it ended up being. It was a clean and easy 3-0 sweep for Lackawanna College. But right now, Michigan Tech making it difficult. The comeback almost there. Across the field, just off the crossbar. Ski Boy able to get it out to the side wall. It's Zach pinching it up. Able to get the follow over Stewie. It's Ski Boy on the follow himself. Out towards Tater. Aoka can only give it up to him. Tater on the flick. Following it up himself. Making it down. Aoka forced to play it awkwardly. And Ski Boy able to get around on it again. Gets the challenge. Stewie turning back, and instead it's Lackawanna going back the other way.
We're seeing a great example of something that we talk a lot about with West Virginia, proactive versus reactive, in the sense of Lackawanna is a team that always wants to control the pace. Just like West Virginia, they want to be the team in front. They want to be the team calling the shots and making the plays. Right now, they're struggling to adapt because Michigan Tech is all over their game plan. They're shaking it up. They're getting one of their own. They're finding ball control. Now, Lackawanna, they're down 0-2. They found themselves in this exact position twice last week. Remember, that was a 3-0. They won both of those. The first one was a 4-3. The second was a 4-2. And then the third game was a 3-0 victory. So Lackawanna, they need to change some things up early because they're not allowed to play that hyper-aggressive in-your-face play style that got them that 3-0 last week.
And for Michigan Tech, that's actually the way that they like to play as well. They are an aggressive team. They like to go for the offense. The only thing to watch out for if you are the Huskies is the over-aggression. That comes back to bite them often, where they'll overcommit upfield and it's an open net for their opponent. Right now, though, they are taking their opponent off the field, and it's allowing more and more offense. Another demolition, and another one from Stewie. Lackawanna College cannot survive on the field for more than a few seconds, and it is shutting down every opportunity.
This is just a dominant play style so far. Michigan Tech up 2-0. Lackawanna wants to make it happen, but Michigan Tech has reset them entirely. Something I talk about a lot in Rocket League is I talk about the teams that work in threes, the teams that have a striker. And last week, Lackawanna played a very striker-heavy play style in the sense of it was Zach with 6 of the 11 points they scored on the board. This time, Aoka is the one to break the seal early. With that first point down, we're not even in the second half. They're down by only a single point. It becomes a lot less scarier now that you've broken that curse powder.
You need a short memory if you're Michigan Tech. Tater on the wall couldn't get the read. It gives up a free shot over towards Lackawanna, and they cut the deficit in half just before halftime. Ski Boy taken off the field, but the offense still on for Michigan Tech. Cut off to the side by Stewie. You get to it first. Up in front of Tater. Around one. Zach still able to get a touch on it to keep it away. To Shake for Shizzle on the clear. A fake on one, and a boost steal as well, building up the offense. Michigan Tech double commit, another thing that can happen very often for them if they are not careful. Doesn't bite them just yet. They're able to get the clear off towards the side, now out the other way to build up an offense.
Oh, phenomenal by Tater. I completely thought that was going to get caught out, but I think there just wasn't enough boost in the tank for Lackawanna, which of course fires the pistons in my head to call out, are we seeing a boost drought that maybe we haven't noticed yet? 3 defenders there, none of them moving fast enough. I'm going to be keeping a close eye on where these boosts are going, Powder, for the rest of this series, because maybe that's Michigan Tech's play style. Maybe that's kind of a secret we haven't seen yet.
Certainly could go in hand with the aggression that they like to play at. Now with a challenge going off the corner, given right away to Stewie. Right side shot, 4-1 Michigan Tech.
4-1 Michigan Tech, 3 minutes off the clock. This is a team just having a field day right now. Lackawanna, a dominant performance in week 2, but week 3, the dominance may become the dominated. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. My point is game 1 not working out well for Lackawanna. Luckily enough, Powder, this is a best of 5, and there is kind of a blessing to this curse. It is only game 1 at the end of the day.
Right, Lackawanna College, still plenty of time in this series to mount the comeback if they can't do it here in game 1. With all this offense that the Huskies are building up, I'm not expecting a comeback to happen here, or if anything, it's not going to be easy. Another midfield pass, JK Fashizzle up to go up for Michigan Tech. This is what they got to watch out for. It allows Lackawanna to get back the other way. Tater there in time, for Ski Boy in the corner. It's a clear out to midfield.
80 seconds left on the clock, 1 goal per 20-ish here from Lackawanna to take a win, and that's going to be a difficult ask. It's taken them 4 minutes to do it once. They've got to do it 2 more times. 71 seconds left on the clock. Lackawanna has cut the lead in half. Their backs are against the wall here, Powder. It's definitely going to be a fight or flight moment from here on out.
Right now, I'm watching the defensive reads for Michigan Tech. That's the second time where a bounce off the wall is either not gone after or not read well enough. And because of it, Michigan Tech has given up 2. Well, they still do have that 2-goal lead. There is still time for Lackawanna to come back, though, if they get multiple more offensive chances. Instead, 2-on-1. Ski Boy towards Tater. It's a back pass. Stewie turns back at the very last second. 2 from the Huskies go for it. Ski Boy on the read, though, able to get it back and at least slow down the attack from Lackawanna.
46 seconds remaining. Lackawanna, they're keeping it close, but close is never gonna cut it. You gotta find the victories, and Stewie, nail in the coffin, gets the fake out, gets the read, and puts the 5th point on the board for Michigan Tech here in game number 1.
Michigan Tech, infamous for these challenges and these 1v1s. They love to go after them. They are successful at that. They can pull out the team plays when needed. But at the end of the day, each player on this Michigan Tech roster has the ability to go one-on-one and beat out their opponent. They're not afraid to go for it. Multiple one-on-one wins already. Give them this 5-2 lead with 30 seconds left. Lackawanna College is going to need to look towards game 2 to try to do anything to shut down this Husky offense.
The Husky offense has been terrifying to the point we haven't even really gotten to see the defense. This is exactly like West Virginia loves to play. They keep it in your back half so much that you don't even have to worry about playing offense because you are stuck on a strong defense. Hurdles down toward the goal of Lackawanna. Maybe there's one in the books, just a little bit of value there for morale moving into game number 2, but I do believe this is going to be all she wrote here. Aoka goes for it, tries to find a third, and just can't do it. 0 on the clock. Zach keeps it up and running. Ski Boy with the hurdle, and could there be an insult to injury goal just around the corner? Nope, it spiked it down. Michigan Tech will win that game 5-2.
Michigan Tech, if they continue this offense and if they continue their nearly 50% shooting rate, I'm going to be quite honest that Lackawanna College is not going to win this series.
Yeah.
They need a way to make the stops when necessary. This isn't even necessarily about shutting down their offensive opportunities. It's about, at the end of the day, at the end of the play, they need to make the stop because Michigan Tech is tearing them apart at the goal line.
Yeah, and if Lackawanna wants to turn this around, they already have to go all the way to a game 4. But Powder, like you said, unless we get some critically large changes, I'm not feeling a game 4 in the future. This has been Michigan Tech establishing a dominance here. Not even the proactive team. They are just the team out there right now, dominating Lackawanna through and through. The demolitions were incredible. The physicality was great. And the constant pressure of making Lackawanna only play defense really forced this team out of the back foot. They do not play defense often.
Right, and when we go back to the other way, though, Michigan Tech needs to be careful again defensively. That's what I warned about at the beginning of the series. This team can get very aggressive, and they can make some mistakes that lead to open nets the other way. We didn't really see any of that in game 1, but the 2 goals were off of mistakes from Michigan Tech. It wasn't really Lackawanna building up an offense. It was just misreads. They need to watch out for that because if Lackawanna starts to build up more of an offense, I would imagine they will at some point. They're going to find the net more often.
It's only game 1. You've got this little break between games 1 and 2 to discuss a lot of things. What do we want to do the same? What do we want to do different? Let's find out what Lackawanna wants to change up here in game number 2. I'm sure they don't want to see a 5-second goal this time, Powder, and it looks like we're not going to be getting one. Aoka sends it off into the far corner toward the goal of Michigan Tech. Stewie there on the challenge and beats it out with boost in the tank. Hader's tap is going to find it toward that center field. Foshizzle sends it into the corner once again. It's only been 15 seconds, and that could have been an open goal for Lackawanna, but Aoka shows up too little too late. No boost to get them there fast enough.
Lackawanna still pushing for this offense. A miss from the defender there. Now Aoka is cut off by Tater at the last possible moment. He gets the 100 boost, but Skiboy left alone. Gets it out towards the side. Stewie will take over with plenty in the tank. Gets the reset. Can he use it? Doesn't even need it. Wins out the challenge. Off the back wall for JK for Shizzle. Rolling down. Gets the follow-up past Skiboy. Aoka coming up. Ripping a shot right side. Stewie able to get the stop. Down into the midfield. Skiboy playing it safely off of his own back wall. Lackawanna College, their offense looking a lot better early on in game 2. No goals just yet, but already 3 shots. Michigan Tech shotless.
Michigan Tech, nothing in the bank quite yet. A minute missing now. Lackawanna has not been able to score, and just even getting that 1 point on the board powder could be enough. JK Pushizzle has the lineup. Tater with a block, keeping us at the goose egg on both sides. This game already having a clearly different pace than what we saw back in game number 1. Skiboy's demolition could be an opener, but Zach, luckily enough, has the boost to keep the team up and running. Expends every ounce of it to clear that ball out toward the goal of Michigan Tech once again.
JK for Shizzle doing whatever he can to keep the offense on, but he can only give away possession to Tater. Another double down and off. Aoka on the miss. It's a free touch for Stewie. JK for Shizzle there just in time on the clear. It is towards Tater, though. Keeps it on for a little bit longer. Zach on the shot. Easy enough stop there for Stewie. Aoka towards the midfield again. It's Tater down. JK for Shizzle half flip backwards. Can't do it. 2-on-1. Stewie. The pass over Zach, and it's straight in. I thought it was a pass, but didn't need it. Another 1-on-1 win for the Huskies.
1 point is all this team needs to work with. Like I said, it felt a little different, but sometimes the ending stays the same. 1-0 in favor of Michigan Tech once again. A strong lead, a strong start. 3 minutes left. Zach, demolition early, tries to put Skiboy out, helps Lackawanna get some momentum, but it's Stewie who goes to walk it in. I'm not even sure what went wrong there, Powder, but it's certainly not a goal.
Just a little bit wide there, unfortunate for Michigan Tech, but they still continue the offense. Tater loses the ball, but it's given right away to Skiboy. JK for Shizzle pushing it out. Over towards Tater, Zach, and neutral challenge. JK for Shizzle able to get a soft shot. Tater to the midfield, right into the hands of Aoka, who can't get the shot on. Slight double commit for Michigan Tech. Desperation, trying to clear it. Tater towards the corner again. Steals 100 boost as Stewie in the midfield pushing up. The shot cut off. And Zach, desperation clear for him. It's Skiboy gathering it up. It is continuing the Michigan Tech offense. Zach able to give it away to the side, but it doesn't get an offense. They are stuck back, and Michigan Tech keeps pushing forward.
Stewie sends it high into center field. Nobody's there for the follow-up. Zach has the clear, and Stewie has to rotate out looking for boost. I got a comment again. Lackawanna, no boost. I'm starting to notice a pattern here, Powder. That Michigan Tech is absolutely playing a boost drought strategy that allows them to sneak in and do things just like that. Put themselves up 2-0 on the series, 150 left on the clock, and things looking rough here for the side of Lackawanna if they're going to put anything on the board here in game number 2.
Michigan Tech, we talked about how they can win the one-on-ones. They also can win on the team plays as well. A perfectly placed pass in the midfield. It's an easy enough goal for them as Zach cuts it away. Tater sitting with a full tank of boost. Slowly to the air. Looking straight for the net. JK for Shizzle on stop. Zach. Shot will be wide. Stewie to cut it off. With 90 seconds remaining, Lackawanna College has not seen their offensive half much since the first minute and a half or so of this game. They have 6 shots on the board, and their 7th will find their way through as they cut the deficit in half.
JK looking good once again. Lackawanna has found themselves in this exact position for the second time this series, Powder, where it's a 2-1. Last time this happened, we saw it go, I believe, up to 4-1 before it became a 4-2. You don't want to be at the half, you want to be in the lead. You want to break this curse a little bit. You at least want to tie things up if you're on the side of Lackawanna. They whiff the kickoff, and instead it's hurtling toward their goal. Zach, full boost in the corner, going for a very slow style, but a sloppy hit from Stewie clears it out towards Aoka. Tater there to challenge up and over. Skiboy blocking out the goal, making sure nothing comes for free. And oh my goodness, Stewie, that's it close. Luckily enough, close that time. Gonna work out well for Michigan Tech. Close, not working for the side of Lackawanna. Zach was close to blocking that goal, but it still goes in. 3-1, 1:03 on the clock.
The reaction time from Tater to see that pinch and instantly turn his car upfield. Gets the redirect in to push that lead back to 2 goals for Michigan Tech. 63 seconds left on the clock, and Lackawanna has to go right back to it, needing 2 to tie things up. And Tater to the air, ever so dangerous. Aoka gets a stop. JK Fishizzle tries to assist him. Builds up an offense, but not for long, as one's taken off the field. Given away towards Tater in the midfield. Keeps it away for a second towards open space. And Stewie will just keep it away from Lackawanna. Not for long, though, as they're starting to push up. Nobody able to follow it up. And now Aoka stuck blast back. And Stewie just building up the offense and wasting more time. No one's home for Lackawanna. A complete fall apart defensively. And that one about seals game, too.
It's a gotta. I mean, we're at 30 seconds. That's like less than that's like 7-ish seconds per goal to take the lead right now. Lackawanna definitely fumbling their way through game number 2. Michigan Tech, I mean, the aerial gameplay from this team so far, Powder, has been breathtaking. They've got the precision of a surgeon when they send that thing up top, and I think it's a huge part of the reason they've been able to find success against Lackawanna, as Lackawanna seems to be struggling to challenge these aerial games.
Tater is waiting back for it, looking to just seal this victory here in game 2. Lackawanna College, this is a team where, if anything, they have the best chance at making a reverse sweep comeback against a team like Michigan Tech. However, with the way that this series has gone, I really don't know if it's going to happen. I don't even know if Lackawanna College is going to be able to walk away with 1 in the next game. They have been completely smothered on offense, held to just 1 goal this game versus 2 in game 1. Michigan Tech is doing everything correct offensively, and even the few defensive miscues they're making aren't enough to give away momentum towards Lackawanna. And with that, it's resulting in Michigan Tech just grabbing onto this lead in this series, and they're not letting it go.
Seriously, the first minute-ish of game number 2 felt good, felt close, felt like it could go either way. We saw Lackawanna start strong. There was a point somewhere, and then the crumble just kind of came through. They were definitely running the sprint instead of the marathon. They had a strong defense at the start. They were going blow for blow with the side of Michigan Tech, but they fall a little bit short. It's a 5-2 win in game 1. It's a 4-1 win in game 2. And now Michigan Tech only 1 game away from being able to call themselves 3-0 victors here over Lackawanna. We did the very same 1 week ago. It's shocking to see a team go from the highest high to the lowest low like this back to back.
And the thing is Lackawanna College, I'm not even really seeing them do anything wrong necessarily. It's just that Michigan Tech is simply playing better than them right now. The defense is just enough to get the stops when needed, and the offense is more than enough to overwhelm the Lackawanna defense and find their way through, whether it's a team play or whether it's a one-on-one.
The team play from Michigan Tech, I think, has been one of the most impressive things we've seen so far. It feels like they're that type of team that's like, plan A didn't work? Well, thank goodness plans B through Z are locked and loaded. Like, it feels like they're not really worried about missing goal or about getting demoed, because it feels like they're playing 5, 6, 7 steps ahead. It's been very beneficial to their performance so far. There was a moment back in game 2 where one of them got demoed, and I was like, okay, usually the other team gets ball control, right? Psych, I think it was Stewie who was right behind them, kept ball control for Michigan Tech, and I think even found a goal off the back of it, if I'm not mistaken. And it's not often we see a player score off the back of their teammate being demoed.
Now it's chance to get a goal quickly off the kickoff. Stewie double tap in, and Michigan Tech starting off game 3 the way they are ending every single game with a banger.
Stewie's 5th goal of the series so far. We're looking at 10 points. That is the 10th point gained for the side of Michigan Tech in this series. Lackawanna sitting at 3 on the board. 2 from Aoka, 1 from JK, none from Zach, who unfortunately has not been able to be that star-studded striker we know and love today.
Dumping it in is JK for Shizzle, and nothing to be found there. Stewie still with open space. Zach finally cutting it off. Aoka on the rotation, able to keep offense on. Bumped off the ball. Tater there first. Stewie behind 1. Aoka's the last one back. Ski Boy looking for the double. Tater instead just stealing 100 boost. It's Stewie pushing it towards the middle. Tater just waiting for it, looking for a bump. Can't find one. Over here comes Ski Boy playing it soft. Can't find the double himself either. Here they go again, though, just doing anything possible to keep the offense on. It's just enough. Ski Boy there, it's just a bit high. Tater cutting off the shot away from Stewie. It is a little bit wide, but you know what? They'll keep the offense on as Tater on the rotation, just suffocating them.
Suffocation, no breathing from the side of Lackawanna right now, and Michigan Tech continues to play this hyper-aggressive play style. Ski Boy goes for a goal, gets a demo onto JK as well. Couldn't open up the goal fast enough, but took ball control out of the clutches of Lackawanna. Stewie's secondary attempt falls short. Ski Boy with the third in and off the corner. Possible in the center. Stewie might find it, but it's a whiff off to the far side of goal.
Aoka with an opportunity, barely gets touched away by Tater, and it's Skiboy now on the carry. He'll get it over one. Aoka coming in. It's a back pass though. Tater with a free backboard, looking for the double, slams it home. Michigan Tech, the offense continuing.
Tater's 4th point of the series so far, point 11 for the team, and that offense just dominance. We're seeing about 2 minutes off the clock now, about 40 seconds out of that second half. Game number 3, definitely feeling like it's going to be the last right now, Powder. Lackawanna not able to become that proactive, front-facing team that we know and love. They're not able to come through, put that aggression down, and force Michigan Tech onto a back foot because Lackawanna hasn't even used their front foot today.
No, there has been none on the side of Lackawanna. 2 shots in this game, and it's not been nearly enough to get through the Michigan Tech defense, which they haven't even really had to play that often. It's been Michigan Tech offense this entire series. It's all we've really talked about. Lackawanna College, they've had a great offense to this point last semester and this semester. I mean, we saw them dominate in a 3-0 sweep last week. But like you said in Game 2, Septilence, they are on the receiving end of a dominating series today. Skiboy will look for another, only taps it up to Aoka, but at halftime, Lackawanna College needs to get something, anything going if they want a chance at this series.
Lackawanna down by 2. They've been in this slot 2 times today and didn't work out either of them, but luckily enough, each game of Rocket League is truly a GG go next. You've got the entire second half of the game to answer out. 20 seconds missing. A great bump away. I didn't catch which player it was, but Michigan Tech found a huge aerial disruption there. Make sure Lackawanna's waterfall shot that did not come to fruition. Zach in the pinch off the corner. 9 boost in the pocket. A great shot once again. Skiboy makes sure that it's not going to the front of the Michigan Tech goal. Another just stone defense there. Phenomenally played, excuse me. 108 seconds remain.
Tater, can he get around on it? He can't. And yet again, Lackawanna College gets a goal to bring it to a 2-1 deficit. And with still time on the clock, it is off of a Michigan Tech miscue, a little bit eager getting upfield. And now 1:45 left on the clock. Lackawanna College just needs 1 to bring this one even.
Gap has been closed in the blink of an eye. 100 seconds remain. That is more than enough time to put a single goal down on the board. JK has a great setup. Stewie there to disrupt it, though, and Lackawanna getting so close. The defense from Michigan Tech makes it tough. Aoka might be in, but it's going to fall just a little bit short. Not exactly the slot you want to be in this moment.
Oh, Stewie, the flip reset.
Even worse.
Stewie making a name for himself today, off the wall, getting the reset, and using it to tap past Aoka. The offense has been completely unstoppable for Michigan Tech. And with only 85 seconds left on the clock, Lackawanna College staring down the barrel of a crushing 3-0 sweep if nothing changes. And with Tater making plays like this, it's not going to change. Skiboy on the double behind the defense and in. Michigan Tech with a statement win here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, that is the 13th point scored by this team, and there's still 75 seconds remaining. Lackawanna able to put on 4 in that same time. A devastating blow against them, unfortunately, but it's only week 3, not the end of the world. You've already got a couple of wins in the book, so 1 loss isn't going to damage that record too poorly.
Still technically some time. They will find one here. Zach to the left side. So not over quite yet. 69 seconds left on the clock for Lackawanna to try to build this one back up. This one off the kickoff, so maybe they can find one again. Try to get themselves back into this game. Like we said, not a lot of time left, and Michigan Tech is going to go right back to the offense if they can help it.
66 seconds remaining on the clock. Aoka gets a great tap off the ceiling into the no man's land, but it's stolen by Tater, who clears it toward the goal of Lackawanna. Michigan Tech in that spot about not really scoring anymore, just making sure they don't. This could be a series of continuous clears down toward the goal of Lackawanna, and I truly expect it to be. Yes, they're going to go for shots, but they know their win condition. They know what needs to be done, and they know all they have to do is keep Lackawanna away from that goal for as long as possible. Zach, a great pass in, looks for the hat trick, can't line it up fast enough, and Tater clears it back down for Lackawanna.
And I like that they're not just banging the ball away. They're keeping it close. They're lobbing it up, wasting time. And Tater not wasting any time on the shot. Top left corner. That one 100% sealing the victory here tonight with only 32 seconds left.
32 seconds remaining. That is 1 goal per 10 seconds from Lackawanna just to tie things up, and I think we can all admit that's probably not going to be happening in a matchup like this one. Michigan Tech's dominance leading the charge. They're already looking at I mean, what is it, 15, 18 points on today, if I can do math correctly, and there's a very good chance I can't. The point is, it's a lot, and Lackawanna finding themselves in a very difficult position as this is a 3-0 loss against them.
Maybe they can find one here for the road. They cannot. They'll continue the offense. Either way, though, it's not going to stop the bleeding in this series. Michigan Tech completely and utterly dominating, as Aogo will find one to make that scoreline a little bit prettier. But at the end of the day, Michigan Tech had full control of this series all day long.
Yeah, it was Michigan Tech through and through. There was never a moment where I thought they weren't going to be able to find that advantage. And now I know chat's definitely laughing at me because I just did the math. It's 14 goals. The point was a lot, and I would say 14 is definitely a lot. So the point itself stands strong, and Michigan Tech standing strong as well. This is the first time I had the opportunity to see them, and there's not many better ways to send a message than 3-0ing a team that just 3-0'd the week prior. Michigan Tech feeling very strong with their chances moving forward into the rest of the season. Come on.
Ooh, they're still looking for another. Maybe they'll try to stretch it to 15. Try to save face with you, Septalens. Still keeping it up. Nah, that time okay. It'll drop down. Michigan Tech, what a victory tonight. This is a roster, and this is what I'm excited to talk about in the interview we have coming up. This is a roster that I've seen for a long time. They are a fantastic roster, nearly making CRL in every semester, but I have never seen them dominate the way that they did tonight. This was, from the very get-go, with Tater starting off the series with a double tap, this was never even a question after that.
Yeah, that was a mental boom, a physical boom, a point advantage they never lost. It was phenomenal through and through. A great performance from the side of Michigan Tech. Like you mentioned, Powder, we're going to get an interview with one of them in just a couple of minutes. So we're going to throw it to a break, pull them in, and we'll see you right back here for that interview in just a few. What's going on, all you goblins, goofballs, and gamers? Welcome back to Star League. Once again, another dominant 3-0 victory. Michigan Tech taking down Lackawanna College. That is 2 3-0s in a row. We're going to be talking to Stewie here in just a minute and hear a little bit about how Michigan Tech found such a strong dominance on the matchup. Stewie, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah. Fantastic. So I definitely want to ask, this is my first time getting to see your roster, and I wanted big things, right? You guys come out, you put a goal down in the first 5 seconds of the matchup, and from there, was that just a huge morale boost? Did y'all come into this thinking, hey, we've got great chances, or did that happen and you were like, all right, full throttle from here on out?
Yeah, so usually that's how we go into all of our matches. We've been working on a lot of positioning recently and spacing out, and we really started to play as a team, and we got fired up from the beginning after a couple of good plays from each of us working as a team. So yeah, it went really well.
And it's absolutely perfect that you brought that up, working as a team, because that was one of the points I brought up in the middle of the series, is that I've gotten to see you guys for a long time now, and one of the troubles I've seen in the past is a little bit of over-aggression. You guys not necessarily not working as a team, but being too over-aggressive up field and not reading each other, and that certainly was cleaned up tonight. So I was going to ask, has that been a focus for you guys? Because it certainly helped you tonight.
Yeah, that's also been a big focus, and a lot of us do it pretty often. It's difficult trying to balance playing aggressive but also not overcommitting. And I feel like we're getting a lot better at it. Our coach is doing great things. Callie Burr is teaching us a lot. and I feel like we're improving pretty quick. So yeah.
And on top of that, we saw you guys go for pretty much every play you possibly could. We saw you go for team plays. We saw you guys go for one-on-ones. Do you guys have a sort of game plan going in of knowing if you're going to go for more team plays or solo plays, or is it just whatever's going to work in the moment?
Yeah, it's all decision making in the moment. Depending on how much pressure we have, sometimes we like to do solo plays. It's really just all situational. Mixing each in is always a good way to beat good teams that can defend against both. You always got to be changing up your play style. So we're definitely going to keep trying to do both and just find out the best situations so we can score more goals.
Yeah, as if you need to. 14 goals in 15 minutes, and this guy is like, yeah, let's get more on the board. You know what? We're at it. Just one more question for you, Stuart. We'll let you hit the road. Yeah, hey, more would never hurt, right? Helps you win a little harder. But is there anybody you want to give a thank you or a shout out to just while you're here with us?
Shout out to Tallybird, shout out to Ski Boy, shout out to Tater, and shout out to the Grape for the power sub. Can't do it without him.
Perfect. Hey, huge congrats on the victory, and I'm sure we will see you again soon.
Awesome, thank you.
And with that, folks, we're going to go ahead and throw to another break. If you'd believe it, it's only 8:05 on the East Coast, and we're halfway done with the night. But we've got 2 more Best of 5 series coming at you in just a bit. Dayton Esports versus George Mason in just a few. Now, Powder may be frozen in excitement, but I certainly am not. He's going to get his webcam figured out in just a moment. What's up, people? Welcome back to Nace Starley. We are jumping into our 3rd series of the night, and if you haven't guessed yet, I feel like we're going for an 80% speedrun here at Nace to get 4 series done as fast as possible. These teams going to have to live up to that title. George Mason University versus the University of Dayton.
My camera simply cannot take the speed that we've been going at tonight. This has got to be the fastest show up to this point, and we're hoping for a couple of fast players out here tonight. Josher Squasher on the side of George Mason University, Titanium, Devin, and JK rounding out their squad. Hiram Supreme and Ryan Apollo on the side of University of Dayton. 2 squads who I think we've gotten to see a little bit of George Mason last semester, maybe one match.
Literally one time.
Yeah, I think we got to see one match out of them, not too much. University of Dayton, though, another fresh face here in Nace tonight.
Yeah, University of Dayton, the squadron that we have not had the opportunity to see yet tonight. Feels like it has been the night of proving yourself right out the gate. We saw it with Michigan Tech. We saw it with West Virginia. Not that West Virginia had much to prove, but these teams, they come out early, they put points on the board, and they show us, hey, we're here to win. Which one of these teams is that going to be in this matchup, Powder? That's up to them to decide. Like you said, George Mason, we saw, I really do think, one time last year. So they've got a lot to show. You know, we only got to see them once. They've got a lot to prove in Dayton. Coming in, fresh slate. They've got to show us they can punch with the best of them here in Nace Starley.
Right, and this is no disrespect to University of Dayton or anything, but simply based on player recognition or name recognition. I recognize more on the side of George Mason University.
Yes.
We've also gotten to see them before. I'm going to favor them a little bit in this series, but I'm excited for University of Dayton to hopefully prove me wrong and give us an exciting series here tonight. George Mason University, a great team in their own right, made summer series back in summer of 2022. So I'm excited to see what both of these teams have to show tonight.
Yeah, they're going to come out swinging pretty aggressively here, and It's going to be fascinating, you know. Powder, there's a couple of reasons I want to disagree with you about the George Mason thing. One is because Dayton is from Ohio, and for those that don't know, I am from Ohio, and this is the one time on the desk I usually don't hide my bias. I just think it's very fun to see teams from my home state do well, but this is also going to be, you know, I think it'll be interesting. I'm down to back up Dayton here, see if they can come out the gate swinging, and if they do, if you can take down George Mason, that sounds a message pretty early. You know, it's not dominating somebody like West Virginia, but George Mason, they are an admirable foe.
They certainly are. Both of these teams coming in at 2-0 on the season. We'll have to see how these two teams face off against each other. Now, one of them going to have to drop into the loss column. As George Mason early on looking for the offense. Titanium forced to get away on the back wall. Joshua Squasher quickly into the net. Opens up the scoring in game one.
Oh my goodness, let's get a watch on this angle again. It's knocked down by Ryan. Joshua hits it clean, like perfect angle. It just barely does not kiss the corner of that goal. Sinks into that top left slot there, and what a way for George Mason to kick things off. 4:44, so it took 16 seconds to get that first goal on the board, and there's fewer ways to establish an early dominance than a quick goal like that.
And, you know, think back to Michigan Tech against Lackawanna College in the previous match, you know, about 30 minutes ago. We just got to see it happen with how quick that series went. And, you know, George Mason certainly going to look for more offense after that to continue building it up. Titanium already upfield. Not enough boost to get to it. Oh, but Dev coming upfield. The defense did not see it coming. Shot is in. 2-0 lead for George Mason.
Dev kicking out even stronger. George Mason, like you mentioned, Powder, both these teams 2-0. Nobody wants to be the one to put that one down. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to be that 2-1 series, that 2-1 game, the 2-1 team. George Mason establishing a very early dominance. 2-0 on the board, 4:20 on the clock, and George Mason looking to strike for a third time already.
Joshua Squasher was up early, but now given away to Dev. Top shelves, just a bit high as Titanium now steal the 100 boost, but he can't steal away the possession. Joshua Squasher's up for another fake. This is something that George Mason, a little bit interesting to go for early. A couple fake outs against Dayton, and it's worked out for him up to this point. A beat out. Now it's Joshua Squasher. Can't get up to it this time. He does still take the possession. Can't get it past Kyram. Up into the air. Pinch down backwards. Needs to follow it up. And a powerful pinch now out of the possession. It's Supreme coming up towards it. Not a lot of boost, though. Gives it away to Titanium. All up in the air. Just past Apollo. Into the net. 3-0 lead for George Mason.
3-0 lead and a team hat trick to boot. That is each member of the team putting 1 point down on the board. And George Mason's 3-0 starts strong against Dayton Esports.
Not even 90 seconds in. University of Dayton needs a comeback instantly. Supreme that maybe can build it up. Said, oh, it's given away to Joshua Squasher. I thought it was going to be easy possession for George Mason, but instead we're looking at 3-1.
3-1 Supreme sneaks it in there. Very similar play to what Joshua Squasher did earlier. And Josh maybe having a little hand in that one there, but I think it was going in regardless. 90 seconds have passed. We've seen 1 goal per 15 seconds so far. And the momentum of this game is clearly a high one. Shooting to be one of the highest scoring games we've seen today. Kyram, a second back-to-back goal there. It was a 3-0. Now it's a 3-2 in less than 10 seconds.
Quick comeback from the University of Dayton, and now they give themselves plenty of time to make the comeback. We were just talking about just under 90 seconds. They were down by 3. Well, just under
That's
90
crazy.
seconds, and they're only down by 1. Can Titanium stretch it back to 2? Not when Kyram has something to say about it. Supreme can't get there in time. Kyram's not going to get the read, but neither can the offense pushing up. Kyram pushing it forward, just giving away possession. Over towards George Mason. Joshua Squasher can't catch up to it, but one thing he's done successfully today is faking out the defense. Because right now it still results in George Mason offense, and this is something that I have not seen a team do so successfully, which is consistently faking out your opponent and it working out for you.
Yeah, Powder, I'm trying to figure out if both these teams have a really good offense or if both these teams have a very poor defense. I haven't quite been able to hit the nail on the head, but it's funny as they both continue to put these scores down. The most points we've seen in a single game today was actually our most recent. Game 3 of Michigan Tech Lackawanna was 5-3. 8 points in total were scored in a single game. We've still got 3 minutes and we're already at 6. So I'm feeling like we're going to break that record here one way or another. Let's make it 7. Dev finds the 5th point on the board for George Mason. It was a 2-3 just as quickly as we went from 3-0 to 3-2. We've gone from 3-2 to 5-2.
And, you know, I really wanted to say, watching that goal go in, that George Mason is starting to run away with it. But this is where we saw University of Dayton get 2 quick kickoff goals. They don't come away with one instantly. They might still come away with one. There is no one sitting back. These teams, it's all offense, no defense. We're not even at halftime in game 1.
Not even a halftime. We've already met the highest score that we've seen today. This was the score line. Michigan Tech 1-5-3 over Lackawanna. There's no way we're going the next 3 minutes without a goal on the board. I mean, there's absolutely no way one of these teams does not score at least one more time. And Joshua Squasher wants to find it early, brings the offense for George Mason out, but it's answered by Dayton Dev, thanking their lucky stars. They kiss the ball upwards, and it hits that crossbar to stay out of goal. We finally entered the second half of game 1. I can hardly believe there are 8 full points on the board.
Things have finally slowed down for a second. Dev skimming it across the back line. Titanium coming up to keep it on. A miss. Now George Mason aggressive towards it. No one able to get there, and it was actually Supreme on the side of University of Dayton, who was just desperately doing anything he can to keep the ball out. 2 minutes remain. The scoring really has started to reach a drought point. Haven't seen anything for about a minute now. Down in front, Dev keeping control, and just as I say it, the ball finds its way in, and Dayton is within one once more.
For the second time, or technically third time this series, they are within 1 point differential. Dayton, you've made it happen twice. You've got to tie things up. You've got to take the lead, and they're feeling danger close to do so. Ryan, the last member of this matchup to put a point on the board. That is all 6 players having scored at least one time, 3 of them having already scored twice. Dayton, they want to find another goal. They want to tie things up 5-5 and give us our first double-digit total score of today.
Titanium aggressively for it. Can't quite find the double. Just not enough boost in the tank to get there. Joshua Squasher towards the back wall. But it's into the corner now as Supreme taking it over Dev. Titanium to cut it off. Just behind Kyram and plenty of space to work with now. Joshua Squasher coming in. Titanium will look for the pass. He gets the reset. Doesn't decide to use it. Everybody clumped up for University of Dayton. And George Mason picked this apart. Supreme barely getting the stop off the post. Up to it again. Keeping it close. Titanium coming in once more. And DePaulo able to get the clear out. Dev pushing it forward again. Trying to build up more offense for George Mason.
60 seconds remain. I'm going to be honest, Powder. I'm going to be a little bummed if we don't hit double digits. All of that in the first half. We've seen 1 point in the second half so far. I want to see those double digits. I'd love to see these teams take it all the way to an overtime in game number 1. And Supreme tries to walk it in. An incredible aerial strategy, but it does fall just a little short with not enough boost to boot. Titanium spikes it in, and that is the 10th point on the board. Titanium's hat trick enters the fray. 40 seconds remain, 6-4. Can Dayton answer back once again? Can they make it a 6-6? It's going to be a tough ask with less than a minute on the clock.
If you're Ryan DePaulo on that play, you have to turn back. You've got to know that you're not going to get to the ball in time. And it's at that point, you think it's communicated to you that you're the last man back. He aggressively goes for it and pays for it with another goal. They need 2 to tie things up with 30 seconds left. They come away with 1 here. Hiram has an open net, but it's too tough of an angle. Ryan DePaulo towards the corner again. Dev killing it down. A good challenge out, but Supreme was too close to the play. And with that, it may just seal things. And of course, as I say that, another goal finds its way in.
Dude, there's no way. We are at 11 points on the board. We must have jinxed it when we said that whole speed run thing, because this is easily the longest game we have seen today. 11 full points, 11 full goal replays, and 11 full resets, 12 full resets technically. Dayton, they're down by 1. They've got 15 seconds. Do they force a coveted crazy overtime? They definitely do not, because Dev puts his own hat trick on the board. That is the 3rd player of this game to get a hat trick. First Titanium, then Kyram from Dayton Esports, and now Devin back on the side of George Mason. I'm flabbergasted. I've never seen this many points happen, at least this close, back-to-back in a single game.
Yeah, we have 3 players on the pitch, the 3 players who have the hat tricks, over 600 points in this game. This is one of the highest scoring games I've ever gotten to witness, and it will finally come to an end here with a 7-2 victory for George Mason, unless they decide to walk away with another. Nope, it drops just in time. George Mason, I mean, That's got to be a little bit scary. It feels good to know when you walk away with 7 goals yourself, but you gave up 5. You have to keep the offense up if you're going to give away that many goals. And we saw it be a little bit sketchy defensively, especially on the kickoffs.
Without a doubt. I mean, it's terrifying that usually when a team hits 7 points, you're like, oh, they totally won, right? It's probably 7-1, 7-2. That's 7-5. They chased you all the way to the end of the game, and luckily enough, could not catch up in time. George Mason puts that first game win on the board. Like you said, Powder, notably closer than they ever wanted, I'm sure. And it's funny, on the side of George Mason, in terms of scoring, it's 1-3-3. For Dayton, it's 3-1-1 for individual player performance there. 3 players landing a hat trick in a single game is something I don't know if I've ever seen.
Yeah, an insane performance from really everybody, because even the players without hat tricks still had padded their stats on assists, saves, shots, whatever it needed, because this was just an onslaught of shots and offense. And you know what? Heading into game 2, we're probably going to see a 1-0 victory. The 1 goal off the kickoff and then nothing for the rest of it at this rate.
5 minutes of rule ones after somebody scores right out the gate. It feels so possible. Game 1 is so unique in its own right because you don't know a lot about your opponent going in. Game 1 is where you learn all of it. Not only do you have to try to win, you have to try to gain a lot of information and intel to use against your opponent for the rest of the series. How often were they looking for demolitions? How often were they looking for boost? How strong was their defense? How often were we getting scored or shot on? There's many questions to consider. And now in game number 2, it's where you get to show how much you really learned in those 5 minutes.
See quickly how things happen in game number 2. Supreme to the back wall, getting a quick stop on the side of University of Dayton. Dev slow to it, looking to pinch this around Supreme, can't get it done. Josher Squasher coming up off the corner, right into the hands of Ryan DePaulo. Shot on Dev on the back wall, able to get the stop. Supreme losing control, gives it away to Dev. Hiram quickly to it. Titanium, who doesn't get the touch, but it does force Ryan DePaulo into a very soft touch forward. Josher Squasher on the clear. Dev on the follow, beaten out by Kyram towards an open net. It's happened again for George Mason, and they find themselves down for the first time today.
Kyram is the wizard of finding open goals. It's incredible. That's the 4th point they've put down this series, and I feel like at least 3 of them have been on a goal where hardly anyone else is even in the replay. It's Kyram into an open goal, and that's it. And it happens again. It gives Dayton that 1-0 lead. They fumbled a 1-point disadvantage twice in that first game, and they keep themselves 1 point in the lead, or they fumble this 1 point once again.
George Mason, certainly an interesting strategy up to this point. We've seen a lot of fakes, and I'll be honest, it's getting to the point where I'm not 100% sure if this is intentional or not. Josher Squasher and Titanium on the other side had a little bit of a, are you going to go for it? Am I going to go for it? They still result in offense, but not a goal just yet. Titanium will keep it going. There's a good pass up towards Dev. Back in the midfield, Josher Squasher there early, but Titanium taken off the field, and it's another clear for the Flyers.
Already 80 seconds have come and gone, and George Mason wants to put a point down. Oh, Powder, I hate you if you jinxed this, man. We're really going to walk into a 1-0 after a 12-point series. It's really starting to feel like it at this point. Last time, I think we were looking at 4-3 already, which is absurd to consider, but that really was the pace of play back in game number 1. George Mason, they've slowed it down. They've changed things up a little bit, and it seems to be working against them. Possibly not forever, though. Josher Squasher's follow-up puts their 2nd point of the series on the board, and of course, for George Mason here in game number 1, we've got Pi on the clock. We're tied 1-1 on the game.
Excellently placed here from Josher Squasher, using the ground to his advantage. The defense can't get the read. It's up and in. He ties the game 1 apiece. Now it's up to George Mason to avoid the collapses on defense, and this one, hard to call it a collapse when the University of Dayton's just picking them apart off the kickoff.
3-10, and Dayton already finds it. It's almost like they're giving a taste of their own medicine to the side of George Mason. Oh, wow, you got it within 1? Haha, no. And they score immediately, because we saw that so many times where George Mason was winning, 3-2, 5-4, and when you thought Dayton was going to score, George Mason on a great turnaround. What a fake out, but the crossbar did not think it was cool enough to allow entry to that goal once again. Josher Squasher removed from the fray by Supreme, and Dayton might be able to find a second or a third even. But Ryan can't hit it fast enough. The slow roll gives Dev just enough time to get in the way and keep the scoreline 2-1.
Shot towards the center. It's Titanium getting up to it, giving away right to Ryan DePaulo. through one defender, but right into the hands of Kyrum, taking him off the field, though, is Titanium. As Josher up to follow off the corner behind one. Dev can't get the challenge, but Titanium can. Off the back wall. Anybody there? No, the third man too far back. Josher will keep it in the midfield to go for George Mason, and that took away what could have been a goal. Could have had a pass down to a teammate into the net. Instead, it's back the other way for University of Dayton. George Mason's got to go back to the drawing board.
Usher Squasher goes for an early goal. Ryan not going to let that cheap shot fall through. 2 minutes on the clock, 3 of them already gone. Can Dayton guarantee our first game 4 of the day? Can George Mason answer back in these next 2 minutes? Josh goes to take it high. The disruption from Ryan steals away that aerial play, and Dev might, will not! Oh, it's the follow-up from Titanium. I thought that was a freebie, but Dev whiffs it. Titanium was there with plan B. What's that? Second point down. 150 remains. We're tied up 2-2.
Excellently communicated and well read by Titanium too. The moment he sees that this play isn't yet over, he still pushes forward. He gets the shot in and ties up the game at 2 apiece. And the demolition off the kickoff, giving an advantage to George Mason. The flick is cut off. Titanium quickly to it, away from Ryan DePaulo. Dev with space, keeping it close, past 1, past 2, and not a good touch from Ryan DePaulo. However, the offense from George Mason, not playing it quickly. They'll allow it to go to the midfield and end up being a clear from the University of Dayton.
Here are 80 seconds remaining. George Mason wants to put the second game win down. You won it by 2 last time. You're stuck at 2 this time. Ryan finds a shot. Dev blocks it out, and Supreme with a great catch into center field wants to hurtle it down toward the goal of George Mason. Another disruptive play from George Mason might be enough to stop that goal in its tracks. Dev, the hero this team needs, blocks it out once again. With only 62 seconds left, Powder, are we going to be seeing our first overtime of the day?
Looking close to it. However, there is a double commit from George Mason on the back line. University of Dayton a little bit too slow to it. Able to take advantage. Hiram up into the air for Supreme. He takes it to the back wall. Ooh. Dev on the read. We'll see it into the corner. Can't beat out Ryan DePaulo. Neutral challenge from Titanium. Doing whatever they can to shut down the offense. Josher out to midfield. Supreme back in. A fake from Kyrum. However, it's Dev taking possession. And everybody from George Mason clumped up in the corner. Dev, the last one, to go for it. Everybody's still in the corner, but Josher Squasher smart to keep this one close and see this one out. And now it's George Mason with late pressure. Titanium can't keep it going. Pushed into the midfield by Supreme. In the final 10 seconds, it's George Mason again with a little bit of time into the corner. It's Titanium, can't get the touch. Now we'll see if they decide to go aggressive or if they'll see this into overtime. They will. We see our first overtime of the day.
2-2 on the clock, and for those that don't know, when you enter a Rocket League overtime, the timer continues to count up until somebody scores. We don't walk away with a draw. We have to find a winner here. Longest overtime I've ever been a part of, if you'd believe it, was 14 minutes. Hopefully we're not seeing one of those here today. Joshua Squasher able to find a great defensive block, but it's going to be Kyrum who finds that shot. Ryan, the setup into the corner. The reset comes through, and Titanium clears it out towards a possibly open goal. Kyrum back in the third, will be able to find it, knock it right back toward the goal of George Mason. Feels like a game of volleyball right now, the way we're seeing it pass back and forth. Titanium finds it. Josh with the tap up. There's off into the left corner. Kyrum there on the defense. Nobody there to catch it in time, and George Mason has left our goal wide open. Josher steals away ball control once again, but doesn't find it. The trade is awkward. It goes off into the corner, and Dayton has ball control in this moment.
You can see George Mason still going for that little bit of eagerness up on offense, and it makes things a little bit sketchy when University of Dayton's pushing back the other way. They're holding strong so far, though, in overtime. Oh, and they're beaten out now. Dayton is off the back wall. Joshua Squasher there. What a save from Ryan DePaulo. Titanium off the back wall. Nobody to follow. It's Kyrum out to midfield. Joshua Squasher back in. Titanium there first. Bouncing down. Dev on the shot. Can't get it. Josher's the last one back, and at least gives it space in time for his team to get back.
Josher steals it away, gets ball control back in favor of George Mason. Titanium takes it far up into the sky, wants to go for a dribble shot down. The aerial play has been an advantage for George Mason. Can Titanium make it work well here? Josher hits it far too high. Ryan with the disruption. 90 seconds already on the clock. It's continuing to count up because somebody's got to find a win here, Powder. George Mason They've been so close every time, but close, never going to cut it. Only going to count in horseshoes and hand grenades, and neither of those involved in a game like Rocket League. Dev on the reset. Titanium, secondary attempt to tertiary. Nowhere in sight, hurtling toward the goal of George Mason once again. Can they get in the way to steal it back? And they can. Josh gives their life for it. An open goal could spell disaster for George Mason. Dayton knocks it up high once again. That's got to be clean. And it falls a little sloppy. Here's George Mason's try again. Put this down.
They not going for anything too special, except here the air dribble. Ryan DePaulo a little bit wide. And really just throwing whatever they can at the net. Oh, a miss from Dev, but Josher there to clean it up. Josher needing the challenge. Instead, will maybe chase after the challenge. I think he actually just lost possession of the ball. Now Titanium up late towards the side. Not a pretty bounce for George Mason. One up. It's Kyram, but he's there late. As we continue to go forward, it's Titanium. Going to get an offense back for George Mason. Dev with a long clear out, but he's really just giving away possession to Dayton again. Good challenge from Titanium to keep it on. They need to keep it going and get the pressure back, and here they go. Dev off the back wall. A miss. Drop down, but he can't find the angle. He had no momentum forward. And with that, they continue the offense, but a close opportunity given away.
3:10 on the clock. We are essentially a full extra game into the world of Rocket League, and these teams really want to make it take as long as possible. 3:20 and counting. George Mason, they have been so close so many times, but close, just not going to make it happen, man. Just put the ball in goal. Like this, maybe? Did he do it? Is this it? Can Josh put it away? Finally, he does it. Apparently, all I had to do was ask. Josh's third goal of the series guarantees a 3-2 win in game number 2. George Mason has done it twice. Are they going to give us the third 3-0 of the evening?
I'm glad we got to see the replay there on the final goal, because I was trying to figure out why the net was so wide open. I think there was one demolition from George Mason to open up space on the side of Dayton's defense, and then Ryan DePaulo, after that demo, was last man, had no idea, was bumped out of the way. So it's just an easy in for George Mason. Took a lot of overtime to get through it, but George Mason sees themselves up 2-0 in the series. That one a lot closer, a lot more low scoring, but still they got it done.
Yeah, we talked about the changes you see from game 1 to game 2. Clearly, both teams kind of had the thought process, okay, they're really aggressive, let's play defense. And the defense was good from both sides. I mean, we saw a lot of times where George Mason came 99% to a goal, and the 1% defense from Dayton was there to answer it out, keeping it this low-scoring affair. If George Mason found every goal they went for, that would have been 30-3, 30-2. It would have been very dominant, and I think Dayton's improvement in defense goes to show their adaptation can be very strong. They just got to make it that much stronger, Powder. They lose out in the overtime. They got to make sure game number 3 works a little more in their favor, or they'll go home as our third 3-0 of the night.
And this is similar to the previous series where we don't have the domination like Michigan Tech had against Lackawanna, but we still have a team that clearly is close in skill to George Mason. They can certainly take a reverse sweep here tonight. However, with the way that George Mason has been playing, and especially off an overtime victory like that, the momentum it gives you, things are not looking good for Dayton. They might be able to get one, maybe they can get it to a game 5, but I think the road's a little bit too tough for them to claw all the way back. But like you said, the adaptations were there in game 2. They scored less goals, but they also held George Mason to less goals as well. Maybe the adaptations can be a little stronger here in game 3 to try to get themselves back into it.
A slow start, no 5-second goals here in game number 3, and I have a good hunch that Dayton is going to be playing an even stronger defense due to the fact they lost by just that one goal. It goes back to the discussion of, okay, if we blocked out just one of those, we could have won that out in a 2-2 situation, in a 3-2, whatever it may have been. Here, though, 4:30, nobody's even been close to scoring. A lot of back and forth. Feels like what game 1 was supposed to be.
We might have one here. No, Josh Squasher too close to it. Hiram can't get there in time, and now it's Josher out to the side for Dev, looking straight for the net. Supreme not the touch he wants. Josher Squasher smart to peel off. It's Titanium over towards Dev. He fakes it, allowing Titanium to take back over. A push in the midfield, cut off by the defense. Ryan DePaulo there first, but it's a weak touch forward. Will go back into the hands of Dev to try to get George Mason back to offense.
Hiram has it in the air here, wants to keep it high, but instead knocks it right down into center field where George Mason steals it away, flips the script, and forces Dayton onto a quick defense. Dev takes it high, Josher slams it in, and I'm stoked to get a look at that replay because what a strong coordination between these two players. We see Ryan pass it, Dev there for the catch, and I mean, Josher just right place, right time, absolutely dominates it up and over that final defender, puts George Mason on the map with that first point in game number 3.
Speed there was key for Josher Squasher. Quick to the ball, quick on the shot. 78 mile an hour banger into the back of the net. Quick lead for George Mason as they continue to look for this sweep. They continue the offense off the kickoff. It's Ryan DePaulo with no boost in the tank. Josher deciding to peel off. However, his teammate decided to slow Hiram down. That might succeed for him. Now Titanium beats him out. Ain't quite beat him that time. However, Josher gets the read. It's Titanium back towards Josher, back towards Dev now, keeping it up. Titanium to the air. The team play is working out. It's low. Dev cleaning it up. The team play works to perfection, and George Mason has a 2-0 lead.
That's amazing. Devin being the one to secure that goal. Look at this. It's blocked out once, twice, and then the third one from Dev breaks through. That is the last member of George Mason to find their 4th point of the series. They've got 12 in total of this series so far, each of them having scored 4 as of now.
Off the kickoff, back on the side for George Mason again. We're both close to the ball from Dayton. A little bit interesting there as now gives away to George Mason again. Josher Squasher way too aggressive. No one upfield, and now Hiram will just see this one into the net. George Mason.
Hiram classic.
Yeah, a little too eager from George Mason again. Gives away another freebie.
I mean, that is just what Hiram's been able to do so many times. Just reads the open goal, gets the complete download on the circumstance, and puts a goal on the board, keeping Dayton in the fray. Half this game already over. George Mason finds themselves up by 1, and that is not a safety net you'd think it is. We saw what can happen when you go to overtime, and with a team like Dayton that can keep you so neck and neck, you really need to make sure you win this in regulation, and no overtimes are in sight. Wow! Titanium thanking their lucky stars, but then cursing them in the very same breath. Ryan, 2nd point on the board. We are tying things up 2-2 once again.
George Mason has got to be more careful on offense. They're getting way too aggressive. That is 2 freebies given up to tie things up near halftime now. Off the kickoff where we've seen Dayton succeed so much. This time it's George Mason pushing to the midfield. Josher Squasher, interesting to slow it down. Dev cleaning it back up, pushes it down. Can he follow it up? No, it's given right into the hands of Titanium. Shot too slow. Saved away by Supreme. He's got 100 boost. Beaten out by Dev. Josher aggressive to it. Beats out 1. And they drop it down to the midfield. Can't quite do it. However, Titanium is there to keep the offense on. This from Ryan DePaulo. Dev has an open net just a bit wide. And now Titanium to keep it going. But Ryan is there to send it the other way.
2 minutes here. 2 on the board for both teams. And Dayton finding themselves in a very interesting situation. They made it this close last time. They lost out in overtime. And they have yet to be able to take a win in regulation. 100 seconds left for them to rewrite history here and not be another 3-0 tonight, Powder.
They've got the opportunities, especially if George Mason doesn't watch themselves on the defensive end. 2 freebies given up and leaving the net open with under 90 seconds left. They cannot afford that right now. They want to walk away with this sweep, get out of here in game 3, not even bother going to the game 4. Dayton's not going to make it easy. Saved away by Josher Squasher to the corner. It's Titanium to the other corner. Ryan DePaulo trying to gain possession. Can't do it. Titanium up over 1. Can he bump out the last? Josher can't quite find the angle, and Dev taken off the field. Everybody caught up. A fortunate spawn for Dev, and they are able to get the stop. But with under a minute left, we're still tied up, and things might be looking towards a 2nd straight overtime.
A 2nd overtime in a row, and it got incredibly close. Dayton played a really strong defense. They kept the dream alive, and George Mason just barely snuck out a win. It should be just as easy for Dayton to sneak out a win of their own. Titanium takes it up, finds the setup into center field. Nobody there to catch it. Supreme disrupts the momentum, finds a demolition onto Josher, and Dev has to clear it down. It's a desperate play, but it's one to keep the scoreline where it's at. Up to center, down to Spike once again. Is that going to be a goal for Dayton? Supreme just not there fast enough. Into center field. Oh, what a hit! What a block! Titanium keeps us tied at the 2-2. Dev has to spike it down. It's a sloppy clear, but it keeps the dream alive of the 3-0. Titanium up and over 1. Can't get past Hiram, and with only 14 seconds left, Powder. that overtime feeling more and more likely.
Dangerous, though, in the midfield is Ryan DePaulo. Dev with a quick clear. Supreme needs to get a touch. He does, but a George Mason player is right there, still alive. One was taken off the field, pushing it down, and we head to a second straight overtime.
Wow.
And right now, University of Dayton on their last goal. They need one here. They want to continue this series. Demolition isn't going to help things. Supreme's alone. Pass across the field. Josher Squasher has to peel back now to get the stop. He will get there in time, and the stop is made.
Titanium has a bit of an open goal here, but they do not hit the ball up fast enough. Josher Squasher catches it from Supreme, goes for a double tap crossbar, gonna be a problem. Nobody there for the spike, and it slips in by Titanium. Phenomenally done on the side of George Mason. Only a 23-second overtime, but in overtime it is regardless. Both these overtimes, a little fun fact for those at home, ending in a 3-2 victory for George Mason.
Yeah, and George Mason, I mean, they get the sweep. It wasn't the cleanest, it wasn't the easiest, but they got it done. Dayton took it to them really the entire series. They took advantage of virtually every mistake that George Mason made, but at the end of the day, George Mason's offense was too much for University of Dayton to handle. It's really what sealed things, is that Dayton just could not clean it up defensively. Too many goal line scrambles to try to get it away.
It was close, but close, and never going to cut it. And now we're going to be throwing it to a short break as we get a player in here from George Mason. I wanted to write that down as well. I'm going to keep a close eye on the overtimes this season simply because I find it interesting. But we'll hear about these overtimes from our player interviewer in just a couple of minutes. Three 3-0s here tonight, the most recent being one out by George Mason over Dayton Esports, doing a phenomenal job keeping it close, winning 2 overtimes in a row with a 3-2 final scoreline. We are now going to be joined by the coach, I believe, of the team, the manager of the team on the side of George Mason. So Teethan is joining us. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. How you guys doing?
We're doing all right, man. I got to ask the same. How are you guys doing after a surprisingly close matchup?
Boys, we're looking good. I'm the Rocket League manager for George Mason. I was sitting in the call with them, listening to them. All good vibes throughout the whole time. So it's a good win. We look to keep on going forth, and we're looking forward to whoever we play next.
Yeah, I love to hear that you were kind of there in the support for them, in the call with them, because that leads really nicely into my next question as well. In the first overtime, and you can kind of answer this in 2 parts, what does comms sound like in overtime number 1? 2-2, what do they sound like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes into that overtime? And then what do they sound like again when you enter another overtime in game 3? What was the mental like in that moment? Or in those moments, rather?
So if you want the real answer, throughout the game, it was, I'm pre-jumping, please hit me. Why did you miss the ball? And then going into OT, it was hard comms. So, like I said,
Sure.
It was good vibes. And then once it started getting a little closer, they started going all in. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's funny that you say what the comms were like with like, hit me, I'm pre-jumping, because I was gonna bring that up. Early on in game 1, I saw, and it was Josh or Squasher nearly every time up in the air, and I was trying to figure out if you guys were going for fakes, if you guys were just whiffing, if you're pre-jumping. What was that? Was that the game plan?
You know, these boys, they're their goal this season was to make CRL. We fell just short, and so they've just been having fun, and you gotta love it. Oh, behind me we got the Arl Academy team players, so they're getting ready for their match at 9:30 tonight. But yeah, so
Clearly practicing a lot right now. Yeah, they've got a lot going on.
Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, so they're just having fun this semester. We look forward to the CCA Opens as well as the next playoffs. We're in another division called Mace, and then we got a couple lands to look forward to. So it will be a fun semester.
Right, and I mean, for a team like you guys, having a mental like that has got to be huge because you had a high-scoring affair in Game 1 for both teams, and then 2 low-scoring overtime affairs. Do you feel like you guys' have fun mentality is certainly helping you guys succeed in your seasons?
I'd say yeah. It's definitely helping us say we're down. We know we're not out of it, and the boys just keep pushing. So we keep fighting. They're never really out of it. You know, we'll be down 3-0, and they'll still have good vibes and smiles across their face. So
that's what you love to hear. Those are my favorite teams personally. The ones that can have a good mental no matter what. Those are the ones I always enjoy. Just one more question for you, and we'll let you hit the road and get our next series ready. Is there anybody you'd like to give a thank you or just a shout out to while you're here with us?
Yeah, for sure. GMU Esports, obviously, as well as all the Rocket League players, Joshua, Titanium, and Devin, as well as JK, our sub, and Memory, our coach, as well as the Academy team boys behind me right now, who, like I said, are getting ready for their match. But yeah, that's about it.
Perfect. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining us, and a huge congrats on this win.
Thanks, man.
And with that, folks, we're going to go ahead and throw it to get this, I know, crazy, slightly longer break than the ones you've been seeing tonight. This one will not be 70 seconds. It'll be a little bit longer as we get our 4th and final teams ready. Shawnee State versus Siena Heights. We'll be back with that series in just a bit. Hey everybody, welcome back to series number 4, and it is, yes, our 4th and final series of the evening. We had to wait for a player who double dips in both Rocket League and something else to get ready. They are here, they've made it. It's Siena Heights University versus Shawnee State University, and Powder, we haven't had the chance to see either of these teams yet this season, so we are coming in with a full expectation, or lack thereof, of what these teams can do.
Right, Siena Heights University, this is actually a team who just recently made a roster change. Faded leaving the school, and now Crazy Kai coming in place of him. 11s and Bob round out the roster. Fire Raptor, Duckworth, and Fiskai 25 are the roster for Shawnee State University. I think the same roster we got to see plenty of times last semester. This is a dangerous roster too. Yeah. Siena Heights University, I know this is a good team with a little more, or I should say a little less experience though, with one coming in. I'm excited to see if a longer standing roster has a better shot against a team like Siena.
Sure, I believe the roster we saw a lot from Shawnee State last year was Fiskai, Stu, and Fire Raptor. Those are the names that definitely stand out the most to me as familiar, and they've got a lot to prove. You know, they're making their stream debut for this season once again. They're going up against Siena Heights, who are in their own right a wild card from what they're bringing to the table, at least here in NACE. And as 11s wants to make that space early, I'm curious if Siena Heights is going to be able to capitalize off the back of it.
Siena trying to get onto offense early. I can't quite get to it. Bob will play it slow, pop it up. Fire Raptor looking for a stop into the midfield. Kai on a quick turn, double commit with 11s. Fire Raptor now towards the midfield, looking for a teammate. Instead, he just finds Crazy Kai, cutting it off. In the midfield, Fire Raptor again playing it for Shawnee. Forward, 11s is there to make the stop. Duckworth on a miss, giving Crazy Kai open space. Popped up for Bob now to follow. Played into the midfield, Fire Raptor there for the stop over towards Duckworth. Crazy Kai again, cannot find the touch. 11s though with plenty of space given. Looking for a double, can't find it. Bob bumped out of the way. We got a one-on-one down the field. This guy with no boost, losing out to Crazy Kai. Fire Raptor shot put away by 11s. Bob will try to clean this one up. He will find the clear.
A minute off the clock, a goose egg on both sides. Fiskai takes it high, gets interrupted by XI and not able to find the momentum yet. Fire Raptor blocks out that goal. It's been close for Siena Heights, and we all know how I feel about close. Not going to get anybody a win on the board quite yet. Traditional game 1 mechanics happening a lot of the ways through, where nobody's over or underextending. It's a lot of classic offense and classic defense as these teams try to get the download on what their opponents are ready to bring to the table.
Both teams going back and forth. Not too many shots early on. The Siena Heights looks to get back onto offense. Giving away in the midfield. This guy needs to clean it up, and he can't. But luckily for him, fakes out 11s. This ball rolling down for Duckworth to clean up. Powerfully towards Fiskai. Shot low and just a bit wide. Fire Raptor, easy enough to clean up. Opens up the scoring in the series.
Fire Raptor with that goal online for Shawnee State. Coming out in the blink of an eye. One of my favorite player icon banners at the bottom of that dragon. I think it's so sick. I'm just a sucker for dragons. I can't help myself, but Shawnee State, they do find themselves up 1-0 on the series. Already about 2 minutes come and gone, but Siena Heights have plenty of time left, plenty of game left to find an opportunity to equalize.
Siena Heights, a little bit of space to work with here. 11s trying to look for Crazy Kai, who gets the demolitions. 11s up to it, able to give it to Bob. For him, only can give away possession. Crazy Kai towards the side, pinching it forward. It's Fire Raptor, not finding a touch. Could be dangerous here for Siena Heights. 11s, though, cannot find it. So instead, Shawnee State looking for the offense once more. Fiskai towards the side. Bob and Crazy Kai both go for it. 11's last man back, taken off the field, but Fiskai getting a touch he did not want. Now the spawn comes in for 11's. He gets the clear. Maybe a counterattack for Siena Heights. Fortunately for them, cannot find it. It's another open net. 2-0 for Shawnee State.
Duckworth, the player coming in. I believe this is the first time at least I've seen Duckworth. I don't know if that's going to be true for everybody, but I know that I've never seen Duckworth before, and that's one heck of a way to make an entrance, right?
Great start for him. 1 shot, 1 assist for Fire Raptor, and Duckworth just 1 goal on the board to this point. 1 for 1 on his shots, and Fiskai will keep the offense going right off the kickoff, just past halftime. Looking for it off the ceiling. It's a fake to Duckworth out of the midfield. Fire Raptor looking for a slow. Now decides to turn as demolitions rain upon the field. Push into the midfield. Crazy Kai too slow to it. Now, no one there for Siena Heights yet. 11s has to race in, but from behind, push out towards Crazy Kai. They're looking for the push-up field, but it's not working. Shawnee State is getting the read and returning it into offense. Luckily, they get the stop, and now 11s will keep this one close. Looks for the double, just wide, and no teammate close enough to get the rebound. Crazy Kai on the turn. At least slow down the clear from Shawnee State. Either way, though, it's still more offense for Shawnee.
Shawnee State on the offense once again, that forward leg constantly in front of what Siena Heights brings to the table. Fire Raptor, beautiful clear down toward the goal of Siena Heights, and as the ball enters the back third of this blue squad, once again, Shawnee State feeling strong in their chances of walking away with game number 1. Only 90 seconds left on the clock, and it's so interesting to go from the high-scoring affair of George Mason and Dayton down to what could only be just a 2-0 for game number 1. We're back to the basics here.
Shawnee will look to stretch it to more as they march onto offense, though. Miss might cost them, not quite, as Fire Raptor comes in, able to keep it in. This guy needs to race back. Bob taken off the field, just shutting down any offensive opportunity that Siena Heights has had to this point. Off the corner, it's Crazy Kai into the midfield. Fisk Guy turning and cutting it off. Still up, plenty of space. Fire Raptor side wall, gets the stop. 11's such a quick turn, he can't get it. Siena Heights gives away their closest chance yet. Now it's a quick counterattack. The stop is made, but Siena Heights is running out of time, and they need 2.
Siena Heights, 35 seconds left, 1 goal per about 16 seconds here, and they haven't been able to score anything in about 4 minutes, so traditionally, statistics dictate that Shawnee State will be winning this game out in possibly a 2-0 fashion, maybe a big 3 on the board, or a 2-1 as Bob scores it in low and slow for Siena Heights. All of a sudden, 23 seconds with only a 1-goal differential, there's an overtime with Siena's name on it. They just got to pull that off one more time.
That's something that's been building up more and more throughout this game, which is Shawnee State being a little bit over-aggressive. It wasn't anything too much until that goal was given up. Now they need to be careful. There's not a lot of time left, but still there is time for Siena Heights to make this comeback. They're looking for it on this offensive attack. It's Crazy Kai down to the midfield. Bob hunting. Powerful clear out. Siena Heights needs to go coast to coast. Takes up the 100 boost to do so. Up into the air. Needs the momentum. Needs to get under it. Pushes it forward. Fire Raptor on the stop, though. Looking for the ground. This one should find it. And it does. And Shawnee State walks away with game 1.
Shawnee State, a game 1 victory, maybe a little bit closer than they may have wanted, but as I'm always saying, a win is a win regardless of how many points you have in that advantage state. 2-1 on the board, putting Shawnee only 2 games away from being able to be our 4th 3-0 team today. Feeling strong, feeling good. They won that first game. Siena Heights came to life in the final 30 seconds, but I'm going to be honest, Powder, the 1 goal they did find had a little bit of luck attached to it because Shawnee left their goal open, so I definitely want to see some changes in play from Siena Heights right now. There's not... I don't know, I'm seeing a lack of communication from them right now, and the goal they found, like I said, was a little lucky, so maybe the team wraps things up a little bit and communicates a little bit stronger to make sure that Shawnee doesn't find these pepper shots and doesn't get these points on the board.
Yeah, they're playing a little bit too much just dump and go right now. They need to keep things closer as they're getting these clears to set up more of an offense. A lot of the time, it was right into Shawnee and they start a counterattack. I like what I've seen when they do set up an offense. It's just not quite enough to break past this Shawnee defense yet. I think more communication, like you said, more teamwork is going to help that out. A lot of these passes aren't finding their way into the actual car of your teammate you're looking for the pass for. Once that connects, I think they're going to start building up more and more shots, and with that, more goals.
Yeah, without a doubt, building up the goals is the name of the game at the end of the day, and Siena Heights, just a little bit more communication on what they want to bring to the table can go a really long way for this team. I'm hoping that progress can be found soon in game number 2. If Shawnee wins this one as well, I think I'm ready to put a little bow on top maybe and be like, hey, maybe a 3-0's around the corner. But each game is an individual GG go next. Losing game 2 does not dictate your loss of game number 3. So Siena Heights going to fight tooth and nail, giving 110% until this full series comes to a close.
Guy with the challenge, trying to get an offense back the other way for Siena Heights. Fire Raptor popping it up, only gives away possession to Bob. Fisk Guy on the stop, looking for the corner. Said it's 11's taking over. Plenty of space given, and he wins out the challenge, but nobody close enough. And if you're Bob, you just need to go for that. You know you have Crazy Kai behind you if it's being communicated. You need to aggress that and get the open goal that you have in front of you. Unfortunately for them, they don't walk away with it. This one pinched just a little bit wide. Siena Heights, though, still with the offense even after all that.
45 seconds have come and gone. A great clear down from Shawnee State. The defense is there on the side of Sienna to keep us tied up at that 0. Duckworth goes for a corner hit. It's 11s that finds one of their own, and Fire Raptor's disappearance into the fray finds the block and keeps the dream alive. Goes from coast to coast, tries to be the defense and the offense for Shawnee State. This guy, another great smack down. It's going to be falling into the far corner. Fire Raptor, no boost in the tank. Has to do this one high and dry and just not going to be able to make it happen. Sienna Heights has ball control for 4 whole seconds before Shawnee answers back. It's stuck on the defense. Duckworth cannot get high enough.
Good bump.
A bit of a sloppy play there. The bump does make it happen. And Powder, over a minute gone, 90 seconds nearly now. Can Sienna put their first point on the board?
Certainly had the chance earlier. A good pass over towards Crazy Kai might set them up. Wins out the challenge. It's down for Bob, taking his time with it. However, Duckworth up to get the challenge. Levin's quick turn. Beats out 1. Now Fire Raptor is the last one back. He gets the stop. Turn from Crazy Kai again. Double demolition. Each team trading him there. As 11s takes possession. Needs to get it the other way and keep it close. Instead, it's given away again. And the demolition is there to open things up. However, you wouldn't need to go for that demolition if things are kept closer. Unfortunately, right now, both of these teams just playing volleyball back and forth, giving away possession to one another.
Duckworth has an opportunity on goal, but it's Fire Raptor who sneaks it in. A critical moment for Shawnee to take the lead. Once again, Fire Raptor's second goal of the series so far. Nearly half of game number 2 is gone, and Shawnee State looking to win by just that single point.
Double commit from Sienna Heights on the back line opens things up in the net. Shawnee State takes advantage. 1-0 lead after 2 minutes having gone by. Bob with an opportunity to set things up. Goes for it again. Slight drop down. 11's a little too quick to it. And now last man back has been taken off, but no boost in the tank for Fire Raptor. It's Bob to the air again. Goes past 1. Looks for it in the midfield. Pinched out the other way. 11's has to race back for it. And at this point, oh no, a miss from 11's barely gets the challenge out. At this point, the aerial attack is not quite working out for Sienna Heights. And of course, as I speak it into existence, Bob gets the flip reset to tie the game.
Powder, I feel like between seasons, I accidentally gave you my caster curse. I feel like it's been you today that's really hitting the marks right when they're defied, right when they're completely turned around at the drop of a hat, just like that. And Sienna Heights tying up the series 1-1. We're in half number 2 now, and a 1-1 is basically just a complicated 0-0 after all, as somebody does need that 1-point advantage to win. Duckworth, a phenomenal hit, but a triple commit from Sienna Heights is going to keep the ball out of goal. 11's juked out by Fire Raptor, takes it up into the corner. Amazing answer out there by Crazy Kai. Fiskeye takes down Bob, and or Fire Raptor getting juggled in this corner. Double defense, ready to strike at that goal.
This guy looking for a teammate in the midfield, cut off by 11's. Can't quite get to it, at least distracts Duckworth enough. Crazy Kai towards the midfield, looking for straight on the net, just a bit high. Fire Raptor long clear out. 11's turns on the ball, goes underneath 1, needs to beat out Duckworth, and he can, but he can't recover in time. He pops it away from Bob. The offense still on for Sienna Heights, but a little bit poorly communicated. It's actually back for Shawnee. 11's has to clean things up to get it away from the net. Demolition on Fire Raptor, spacing things out a little bit. Bob racing in for another stop. Fire Raptor off on the other side of the field, cleared right back into his hands.
1 minute remains. Could this possibly be our third overtime of the day, or can one of these teams break the curse in this remaining 60 seconds? 20% of the game still left to be played. A great knockdown for Sienna Heights. Unfortunately, the follow-up just a little lackluster in that moment. Shawnee State, 2 defenders blocked out. 11's takes it close. Fiskeye has to dance it up into the corner. The disruptor is not there. Oh, but Fire Raptor is, luckily enough. You blocked it once. Can you do it one more time? You certainly can. There's the clear down toward the goal of Sienna Heights, and Shawnee State might not be able to score yet, but they're definitely making sure Sienna doesn't either.
However, we are starting to see Sienna build up the team play more and more, looking for more passes off the side wall, except for Duckworth. He goes for the solo play, matching Bob's earlier, gets the lead back with only 30 seconds left.
30-second turnaround is going to be a difficult spot for Sienna Heights to find themselves in. Jumping into an overtime is one thing, Powder. Jumping in to a game 3 down 0-2 is a whole different beast. And Sienna Heights, they definitely want to find this goal in the remaining 30 seconds. Demolition onto Crazy Kai makes it that much easier for Shawnee to steal ball control, make it more difficult for Sienna Heights to even get into the back third. Duckworth clears it down. Only 20 seconds left. Can Sienna give us a miracle goal to tie things up and force our third overtime of the day?
Fire Raptor gets to this one in time to slow down the offense. Once again, Sienna Heights in the final seconds have to go coast to coast. 11s bangs it down the field. Fire Raptor does keep it up. An interesting choice. Bob forward, but Shawnee is there in time to kill it. Down to the ground, and they're up 2-0 in this series, one away from the clean sweep.
This has been such a blink and you miss it series. Things were neck and neck. It was, oh my goodness, could anybody do it? And all of a sudden Shawnee is like, no, let's not change things, right? We've seen 3-0s today. Shawnee wants to give us just one more if they're able. And right now it is certainly feeling like they can, Powder. I am impressed at this team's ability to constantly stay just one more in the lead, one more above what needs to be done. And winning by a single point, it is still a win. That's 2 games in a row. It's a 2-1 victory for Shawnee. They've just got to pull that out one more time to emerge victorious.
And at this rate, I think they have a good shot at doing it. Sienna Heights looks a little bit discombobulated on offense. Yeah. It got better in game 2, but it wasn't quite enough. Still held to just 1 goal. However, if they can get back to that team play that it didn't work out for the goal in game 2, but it resulted in multiple shots in a row, I think they're going to be able to break through Shawnee's defense. It's just a matter of whether they go back to that or if it's more just banging the ball down the field and look for a solo play.
Yeah, and it's whether they can do it fast enough, right? I mean, we're looking at a circumstance in which, okay, you're getting closer, but you're running out of time. There's only 3 games to work with here if you lose all 3. 2 of them have been expended. We've seen the improvement. Still wasn't enough to win. You've got to essentially double or triple the changes you've made in game number 3 to force game 4. Then you're working all the way toward game 5. You are just starting this uphill battle if you are on the side of Sienna Heights, but hopefully they're able to clutch things out and give us game 4.
See what they have in store as we start off game number 3. They've got to turn things around quickly. I think it's crucial for them to get the first goal of this game.
Yes.
If they do, that might just build up momentum. They are a very mental-based and confidence momentum-based team. If they can get that first goal, I think they have a great shot at running away with multiple to come back, and there it is, 11.
Wow.
15 seconds in, the offense is there, they take advantage, and they are up first in game 3.
What's the opposite of a caster curse? Because Powder just did it. A caster bless? I don't know, but you nailed it, man. You made it happen. You helped Sienna Heights to get that momentum. They definitely are listening at the improvements they need to make, and they're feeling confident about their aggression moving forward. 15 seconds gone. They've got 1, maybe 2 points on the board, but it goes a little far to the left side. For the first time this series, Shawnee working from a deficit. They want to make this a 3-0, because if you let them wiggle into game number 4, who says they can't do the same for game number 5?
11's quickly back. Bob looking for the redirect, down and in. 11's there to steal it away at the last second, giving him his second. Bob the one to find this redirect. 33 seconds in, and Sienna Heights has already got 2 on the board. They've already matched what they've scored in the previous 2 games combined. And for them, it's only up from here if they can keep this offense going.
This is the first time 11 has scored this entire series so far. They've done it not once, but twice. So there's a very strong performance coming out from 11s here in game number 3. Maybe they just need a little bit of time to wake up, trying to get into the action. They've finally been able to do it. And they put a win on the board and force game number 4. Yes, you're up by 2, but not even a minute has disappeared. Your opponents have 80% of this game remaining to score 2 times just to tie things up. Bob, though, tries to make it 3, just barely gets snaked out. And Shawnee State keeping us at that 2-0.
Can be scary, like you said, with so much time on the clock to be up. Even by 2, you have to fight a long way through this game. However, they've held strong so far, nearly a minute now with this 2-goal lead. Duckworth on a miss might almost give up a third. 11's to the midfield. It's Bob following it up, looking for the double down. Instead, it's Fisky out towards Fire Raptor in the midfield, looking for the back wall. 11's has the read. Duckworth there first on the corner, who gives it away right to Fisky. What a cut from 11's. That one's certainly into the net if he doesn't get there. Instead, it's a counterattack quickly for Sienna Heights.
Things are getting a little nervous on the side of Shawnee State. You've got to assume you've lost 2 minutes. You're unfortunately still at the goose egg, and Sienna Heights has found a pretty strong way to be in the lead. Oh my goodness, Shawnee thinking they're lucky stars. That one didn't go in as nobody was going to be there for the defense. Fire Raptor blocks out that second shot. 2 minutes gone, 2 points on the board for Sienna Heights, and still nothing for Shawnee State. Game 4 could be just around the corner unless Shawnee comes back to life the way they did in games number 1 and 2.
Ooh, close stop for 11's there. Just after 2 minutes still. Actually, that was the first shot from Shawnee, that close one. But it took them all of 2 minutes to get it. It's Crazy Kai with a quick clear out. Fire Raptor is the one rotating around, playing it slow and keeping it close. As Duckworth on the side wall goes for the solo. It's actually Duckworth taking over. Bob straight into the air. Dangerous position to be in. Everybody goes from Shawnee. Fire Raptor will get around on this in time. Our Crazy Kai is there to slow things down. And Bob on the rotation, able to keep it going.
Half the game has already come and gone. Shawnee still sitting at that goose egg. It's like 11s came to life and just like absorbed the life force of Shawnee State. Bob's double demolition makes it a lot easier to hurdle toward that goal, but with the demo, you reset them to spawn in front of it. Makes it a little harder on that offense. Your team too far away. Find value off that. Duckworth definitely looking for a double tap. Finds the first half. There's the second. The fake was phenomenal as Fire Raptor was the one to snake it in. Cuts the lead in half. Only 2 minutes remain, but only 1 point separating them. 2 minutes might be all Shawnee needs to sneak away another win.
Not only is it a fake for the player in front to not go for it, it's also just a tough read in general for Siena Heights when it bounces down off the wall like that.
Yeah.
Tough ask for any team to make. Shawnee State brings it within 1. Still lots of time on the clock, but still lots of time for Siena Heights to get another one back and stretch it back to 2. 11s, keeping it close. Crazy Kai across the field. Instead, it's Fist Guy, keeping it close to himself. The recovery there, a challenge. A Fire Raptor back towards Duckworth. It's behind him. Awkward play now. Got to go up for it. Behind 1. Now nobody left for Siena Heights. They can get a banger down the field. This guy low and above opens things up. Aggressive from Siena Heights. Gives them the 2-goal lead once again.
Game 4 incoming here, possibly 80 seconds, 2-goal lead. 11s just walks it in past the final defender. That was an easy one they are definitely thanking. And an 11s hat trick, I believe, the only player to score for Siena Heights here in game number 3, just deadlifting this team to victory. 80 seconds remain, 1 goal per 40 seconds to tie things up for Shawnee State. Fire Raptor goes for the hero play, wants to line it up, but it's taken out by that defense. Once again, the physicality and the disruption have been a lot against Shawnee State's momentum. This is starting to get scary, Powder. I said this at the beginning of the game. If this team can find a crack, they might be able to force through game number 5. They can split the team, break the momentum, and put themselves in a game 5 scenario.
Especially when Siena Heights now 1 more goal on the board than Shawnee State ever had the previous 2 games.
That's true.
They are looking for another one, though. Can't find it. The stop is made. Like
That's
over
crazy.
1. Siena Heights has done an excellent job of making the comeback, but it's not done yet. Fist Guy in the midfield, sitting and waiting, puts it home and brings them back within 1.
Fiskai's first goal of the series there. It had been the Fire Raptor Duckworth show. Fiskai surprisingly quiet, but finally puts one down. That's 3 for Fire Raptor, 2 for Duckworth, 1 for Fiskai, 3 for 11s, 2 for Bob, and none for Crazy Kai right now. Shawnee State, 35 seconds remain. They find the demolition. They're going to be able to go for an offensive play, but Bob, a great disruption into center field. Knocked away. Is there a follow-up? The double tap. There it is! Duckworth ties it up in the blink of an eye. Puts a third one on the board. 28 seconds remain. Is there an overtime just around the corner, or has Shawnee State finally come back to life?
Siena Heights could not get the read. The ball both rolled and bounced up, and 11s could not get the read. 28 seconds left, and Shawnee State has marched back to tie this game up. 11s off the back wall, gives it away to Duckworth. He keeps it close, looking for the dribble. Bob is there to disrupt. Now it's Crazy Kai in the corner, behind Fist Guy, but right into the hands of Fire Raptor. He's up into the air. Can't get past 1. 11s into the corner. Past Duckworth. Bob trying to cause chaos to keep it away. What's popped up by Crazy Kai, but it does drop to the ground. Siena Heights down to their last goal. They need this to stay alive.
They truly do. Powder, they're fighting for this next goal just as much as they're fighting for their next breath here in this series. Bob has a phenomenal lead there and smacked out by Duckworth towards center field, hurtling toward the goal of Siena Heights. Crazy Kai is the guy to get that disruptor once again, keep the dream alive. The timer will continue to tick upwards until somebody puts a goal down. Duckworth hurdles out of their own goal, leaves it open. Powder, can that spell disaster? Instead, it could be the victory they needed. Fire Raptor needs a defensive play, but Bob sinks it from the heavens above, putting their 3rd point of the series down. We are going at least to game number 4 on this series. Very well done by Siena, finally taking a breath of fresh air.
And this is what you need to watch out for if you're Shawnee. Siena Heights has been building up the passing plays throughout this series, and now they are in full force. Like you said, Bob, from the heavens, getting the read, getting the redirect, and Siena Heights stretches this to a game 4. It is up to Shawnee now, even after the 2-goal comeback, to tie the game to seal things away. Sienna Heights build up their offense more and more. They went 4 for 7 on their shots. Shawnee's got to find a way to bring things back into their favor. Otherwise, Sienna Heights is a real threat to reverse sweep.
Yeah, and at the beginning of that series, we saw it was 4-2 in total. 2 points from Fire Raptor, 2 points from Duckworth, and only 2 points from Bob. Nobody from Sienna Heights had scored up to that point in time. 11s comes in that game, puts 3 down. Bob puts another one down. Crazy Kai's still quiet, but that's okay. Every team needs a third man. You wouldn't be able to succeed without them. And all of a sudden, Shawnee State only has 1 more point than Sienna does right now in the entire series. It is a 7-6 on the full series with Shawnee barely in the lead. Is Sienna gonna take us all the way to Game 5, Powder? It'd be one heck of a way to end the night. 3-3-0s and possibly a Game 5. Who knows? But Shawnee, momentum stacking against them. Sienna feeling stronger and stronger with each and every strike. There's a very real chance of a Game 5 if they can play like that again.
And I think that they have a great shot after the overtime victory to turn that momentum in their favor and continue it in this game, and maybe walk away with a little bit of a more secure victory rather than just the overtime. We'll have to see how they play things out. Shawnee, maybe angry after that overtime loss, might just get things right back in their favor and crush them. Who knows? And it is Shawnee off early to the races in this Game 4. But it is Crazy Kai pushing it forward towards Bob, who can't quite reach the ball. 11's trying to keep this away from Shawnee. Can't do it enough. Duckworth not able to find the ball, and so instead it'll be Bob pushing it forward towards 11's to try to get a Sienna Heights offense set up.
Crazy Kai takes it high in the sky, but Fire Raptor's the guy to get it out of there once again. 30 seconds have come and gone. It's a slow-scoring game that worked really well for Sienna last time. Shawnee State want to take an early lead. They want to find an advantage and put themselves in the winner's seat. That first point on the board is probably going to dictate which one of these teams can find themselves a little more comfortable for the rest of Game 4. Ooh, 11's a terrible hit off the trade there, and it's the lineup. Anybody for the follow-through? Nope, just a complete and total whiff from the side of Sienna Heights. Shawnee State absolutely thinking they're lucky stars after that one.
The calls are going that slow. It's a tough read. Sienna can't seal it away quite yet. Actually, both of these teams still shotless after 1 minute. That'll break the scoring or the shot drought. Duckworth trying to play this one away and into the corner. He can keep it away from a Saints player for the time being. Now it's Fire Raptor on the dribble. 11's quickly. Top right shot. Duckworth can't get back in time. Sienna Heights suddenly looking extremely dangerous, drawing first blood in Game 4.
Sienna Heights' first blood is exactly what I was looking for. I said, hey, whoever scores first, I think their odds of winning this game absolutely spike. And Sienna, the odds certainly have spiked, Powder. This is a team feeling notably comfortable going into game number 4. If they can force a game number 5, we could see our first on-stream reverse sweep of the season. But there's still 3.5 minutes, right? There's only been 75 seconds off the clock against Shawnee State. They've got 3.5 minutes to respond. This guy's demolition onto 11's creates a little bit of space, guarantees a safer ball control, and Fire Raptor just doesn't have the boost to keep it alive. Has to drop low, spends it into the ground, up and over 11's. Kai into that corner once again to answer fast. And Sienna Heights put another one down. Not quite.
It's an interesting choice from Shawnee to turn away from that. I didn't think anybody was home. Luckily, one more was back there, and we're in kind of a backwards rule 1 that they will eventually break. Stakes a little bit too high for them to try to continue this one. 11's can't quite get the dribble out. Duckworth on the read. Crazy Kai there in time to get the stop. This guy keeping it going. 2 in net. It's Bob for the stop. 1 taken off the field to shut down the offense. It's these Saints trying to go back the other way.
Almost half the game already gone, and Shawnee State definitely keeping this a low-scoring affair. You've got to wonder if it's intentional. They brought it so close. They forced an overtime in game number 3, and they definitely overperformed in the last half of the game, kind of getting ready to sprint that final 100 meters of that 400-meter race, and I'm wondering if they're going to do that once again. Second half buff has to income right here, right now. Demolition onto Duckworth disrupts the defense, but keeps the dream alive, and Kai could not find the goal off the back of it. Another setup, no follow-through. Duckworth, a great fake there, keeps 11's on the ropes.
Pinch into the midfield from 11's. Can't catch up. Fire Raptor down to Fist Guy. Bob almost bit the fake, but he still can't get a quick stop. Now it's Duckworth trying to dish it around 11's. No one home. Free net for Fire Raptor. Slams it in and ties the game.
Fire Raptor, a punch to the face on that one. Ties the game just under 2 minutes. Powder, you hate to say it, Shawnee has heard this song before, and they did not like the ending. They made it crazy close. They tied things up, and they fell just too short at the end of the day. They do not want history to repeat itself. They're going to have to find at least, I'd say, 2 points, to be honest, to walk away with that win safely.
As Siena Heights heads back onto offense, looking more dangerous. The double commit, a free net, but 11's backflip still, though. Crazy Kai finds the back of the net and immediately regains their lead.
Crazy Kai's first goal of the series comes when a team truly needs it. In a moment like this, 104 seconds left, it was tied up. Kai gets it up and over pretty much all other 5 people in the lobby and seals the deal for Siena Heights to reestablish their lead. 100 seconds is a heck of a long time, 20% of the game left to be played. Can Shawnee State answer back fast enough, or is Game 5 just over our horizons?
Shawnee can't find the challenge. Duckworth trying to turn around on it. Now Fire Raptor caught extremely awkward. Maybe a 3-on-1 down the field. Duckworth, can he get there in time? Can't quite do it. Fire Raptor looking for the double. Well, at least keep the offense going. But it's Siena Heights again, fighting their way through it and finding their way back onto offense. Bob dumps it into the corner. Now given away right back into the hands of the Saints. Fire Raptor taking off, opening things up. However, still into the hands of Shawnee State. Go back on offense.
1 minute remains. 11's looking for that nail in the coffin. That Game 5 goal is going to come from the side of Siena Heights, and they don't even really need one, Powder. They're already in a dominant position to take this Game 5. Bob sends it up high. Duckworth has to play weird, but gets the block, and that's what matters. Nice Demolition comes too late onto Fiskai. The reset there. 11's towards center field, past 2 defenders, towards an open goal, and the Demolition saves the day. Fiskai is going to be able to block it out. 38 seconds left. Can Shawnee State find this, or is this just a delay of the inevitable? Are we headed to Game 5?
Ooh, close call there from Shawnee State, and with this runaway goal from Bob, it will about seal things. There is still time, but you're going to need a kickoff goal. Your Shawnee State, it went for everything on that attack. They nearly walked away with it, but unfortunately for them, they came up just short. Now with 26 seconds, they need 2 goals, or else they face down the barrel by Game 5.
I think a Game 5 is just over the horizon here. We have definitely lost our any percent speed run, but if 11's looks to speed run finding a goal, they're not going to be able to beat our 5-second goal earlier today, but dang, if it ain't just as close. The fake works out well. The trade is in Siena's favor, and we need 1 goal per 5 seconds right now from Shawnee. We literally need 4 kickoff goals in a row, so Shawnee has to give up this game as well. Powder, I mean, this has truly become a back-against-the-wall moment. This is not where the team wanted to find themselves, and I'm sure not where they expected to be after their performances in Games 1 and 2, respectively.
Shawnee maybe going for it, not able to walk away with a little bit of a momentum builder at the end. And for Siena Heights, this has been an incredible comeback up to this point. It's not over yet. Still 1 more game to go. They've done what it takes to get to at least a Game 5. Now it's just about finishing it off for the reverse sweep.
Reverse sweep would be amazing. We've seen a lot of teams come this far just to drop it in a moment like this. And Siena Heights, you've put it all on the line. You've made this series way longer than any of us expected it to be after game number 1. And now it's your time to prove that this was all worth it, that you did not go through the entire effort of a reverse sweep just to lose in Game 5. This is going to light a fire underneath Shawnee like I think nobody's expecting, though. Back against the wall, this team does not want to lose, and they're going to have to play their absolute butts off to make sure that doesn't happen, because right now Siena is absolutely out for blood.
They are. The scoring has picked up since the first 2 games. It was 2-1, 2-1, and now high scoring affairs on the side of mainly Siena Heights.
Yeah.
In Shawnee State, they had 3 previously, either 2 or 3 previously, but in this game held to just 1 single goal. The offensive opportunities are not as easily found as they were earlier on. It's really up to Shawnee now to find a way to get back to them. Otherwise, Siena Heights is going to keep piling up the goals.
This is the first game. Is this? No, this isn't the first Game 5 we've seen, is it? It might be, Powder.
I think it might be.
Game 4, Game 3, Game 3, Game 3, Game 3. Yeah, this is the first Game 5. We've only seen 1 Game 4, and it was the first series of last week. So not only is this the first Game 4 of this week, this is the first Game 5 of the season.
Yeah, insane match here tonight to end the night. We have Siena Heights looking to cap off the reverse sweep to continue their season, and Shawnee State started off hot in this series. It was 2 close victories, but still they had easy control over Siena Heights. That is completely flipped on its head. Siena Heights has all the momentum at this point, and I wouldn't really be surprised to see them continue. However, Shawnee is not going to go down easily. They won games 1 and 2 for a reason.
Ain't no way.
But games 3, 4, and 5 have been going Siena's way for a reason. It's been XI 11's leading the charge.
Did 11s just like turn their monitor on back in game number 3? This is incredible. The difference this player in particular continues to make. Always finds the opening goal, always finds the clutch moment turnaround, always finds the demolition. It is the all-around player that this team needed for success, and by golly, is 11s finding them success.
Back onto the offensive side for Siena Heights. Can they get another quickly? Bob pinching it across the field. Easy enough read. However, it's into the hands of 11s. So dangerous with the ball. Straight for the shot. Low and in. 11s putting the Saints on his back in game 5. We are 26 seconds in. He has 2 goals, and they look ready to complete the reverse sweep.
Even crazier than 2 goals in 20 seconds, the entirety of Siena Heights has 12 goals. 11s is 7 of them that we have seen in the last 2 games. What is that?
Insane comeback from Siena Heights. Up to this point, Bob pushing it back into the offensive half. 11's taking over again. Oh, we get the double, but Duckworth barely getting up to it. Bob pushing this one wide. Now it's Duckworth carrying it again. Crazy Kai up for the stop, able to get it. 11's back in again. Bob with so much time to play into the hands of Fire Raptor, but still 11's is there to keep it on a little bit longer, give his team time to rotate and collect a boost. Bob, a successful challenge forward, not necessarily setting up an offense, but at this point, they are just wasting time and preventing Shawnee State from getting an offense of their own.
Siena Heights finds themselves up 2-0 in a Game 5 circumstance that we absolutely were prepared to see them lose. I can't believe we've made it all the way to a Game 5, but this team fighting tooth and nail until the bitter end. Duckworth puts a goal on the board, separates the lead by a single point, and with only 90 seconds having come and gone, there's more than enough time for this team to answer out fast. That's the first point we've seen in a while from Shawnee where I feel like there was absolute coordination behind it.
Right, they had the goal in the last game, dished it around the defender to get a wide open pass into the net. This time, another fake out on the defense cuts the deficit in half with just 90 seconds having gone by. Crazy Kai will look to set up an offense. Fiskai on the miss. This could be dangerous for Shawnee. Our Fire Raptors back there to collect it again. Bob back towards Crazy Kai. A miss from both players. This is favorable for Siena Heights. Bob, another challenge to keep it on. 11's needs the boost, however. Now he uses it to his advantage to keep the offense going a little bit longer. This guy just giving away possession. Bob towards the back wall. We've still got plenty of time, but I'm a little concerned for Shawnee. They keep giving away the possession. And sure, they're only down by just 1, but they cannot just give it away to Siena Heights like this.
Yeah, it feels like there's a little bit of uncertainty about when to... I don't want to use the phrase overextend because I feel like that's not really what I'm trying to say, but there's just this weird kind of like comfortability of giving ball control back to Siena when in reality you need it 100% of the time right now. You need to be fully on top of the game and prepared to strike at any given moment. Just like that, Duckworth goes for it. Bob able to find the disruptor, and it's not exactly where Shawnee wants to be, but they know that there's signs of life in their own team performance right now. Are they going to be able to break this curse? Can they break through and put another point on the board? Not the team I was talking about, actually. Fun fact, I was talking about Shawnee scoring, but Siena Heights they are ready to put a nail in this coffin. They are ready to go home in a Game 5 victory.
Siena Heights happy to get that one, too. If you saw the play from about 10 seconds earlier, they actually saved the ball themselves. Couldn't get out of the way while sweeping the back line. Make up for it. They get the goal in. 2 goals up. Just over 2 minutes left, and Shawnee is struggling to find anything on offense. They do have a couple shots, but it's just not as potent as it felt like it was earlier on in games 1 and 2. Meanwhile, 11's has been able to just run circles around the Shawnee State defense. They struggle again to break out. It's Crazy Kai keeping it going. This guy into the hands of 11's again, around 2 defenders, a double tap into the midfield. Bob coming up, fakes out 1. Now it's Bob again on the challenge, pushes it through 1. Can he muscle his way through another? He cannot. The time is ticking down, and Shawnee still needs 2.
90 seconds remain. Shawnee's still down by 2. We're looking at about 45 seconds per goal for this team to find success, and that has not been the name of the game for Shawnee State so far tonight. Bob goes for a great defensive block there. Make sure the ball does not roll in low and slow. 10 seconds of the 90 already gone. 80 remain, and we are down to nearly 20% of the game left for Shawnee to score twice. It is a difficult spot to be in, Powder. One that I'm starting to get the hunch they're not going to find themselves out of anytime soon.
Bit of an awkward play from Siena, but they make it work. Tough play though. Fire Raptor shoots it off the post, and Shawnee State, they needed that one. They are down to under 60 seconds left. They just had a freebie go away from them. They need to get one back instantly, or they are going to be in a world of hurt. But they continue to give away the possession. Siena Heights marching forward. Shot too soft, but the challenge to keep the offense on. 40 seconds left, and Shawnee, just nothing happening as Fiskai pushes it forward again into the hands of Bob and back the other way.
30 seconds left, 1 goal per 15. 11's looking for another one of their own, and that has to be the nail in the coffin. I'm gonna bring this up, and I'm gonna sit on it in case we get one more, and you'll hear what I'm talking about in a minute. Either way, Siena Heights absolutely has this game in the bag. I don't even know, 7.5 seconds per goal right now for Shawnee State, and Siena Heights, I'm so glad that not only did they push us all the way into a game number 5, but they made the journey worth it. They didn't lose in game 5. They came through. They dominated in game number 5, matter of fact, and they're able to find a very impressive victory. This is actually the most dominant score that we've seen so far today, or in this series, rather.
Just an incredible comeback from Siena Heights. The confidence and the mentality to storm back from an 0-2 deficit. Even if it was a close games 1 and 2, they still had to fight tooth and nail to get this. Shawnee State did not make it easy, but at the end of the day, it's Siena Heights with the reverse sweep to take down Shawnee State.
It's incredible. We do not get the opportunity to see reverse sweeps very often, and this one was just one heck of a series. We got 3 3-0s in a row, and then all of a sudden we get an incredible full Game 5 series looking phenomenal for the side of Siena Heights. Now, that little fun fact that I bit my tongue on just in case we did hit double digits, looking at the side of Siena Heights, they had 14 points in the entire series across 5 games. 11's scored 9 of those, Powder. Out of 14, Homie scored 9 points. That is easily the largest impact we have seen a single player have. On the opposing side, 10 points from Shawnee, the most being 5 from Fire Raptor in that series. A phenomenal one I'm glad we got to be a part of, but we're going to go ahead, throw it to a break, try to pull an interviewee in here. We'll see you right back here in just a couple of minutes. Hello, everybody, and let me offer you just one more welcome back here at NA Star League, Rocket League, Septilence, and Powder, joined by the legendary Siena Heights player themselves, 11's, who's going to be joining us for this interview. Can you hear us?
Yes, hello.
Fantastic. Hey, so I've got a question for you. You score 0 times in game number 1 and 2. Okay, it was weird. We're like, where is this kid? What's going on? Games 3 through 5, you score 9 out of the 14 points your team has on the entire series. So my question is a simple one, 11's. What happened, dude? What woke you up halfway through this series? Because that is the most dominant I've seen a single player in a long time.
I'm not gonna lie, like I came to the arena like 5 minutes before the game, so I didn't really have much warm up. So when we went down 0-2, I was like, yeah, I'm not losing this. So I stuck it out, that's all.
And it's funny that you say that because, I mean, before the match, we were waiting on one of you guys' players to get in the lobby as well, finishing up another Nace match, actually. So, I'll be honest, it doesn't really surprise me that you guys kind of started off slow if two of you didn't have much warm-up. So, it was a great job for you guys to make that comeback. Was that affecting, do you think that was a major effect in you guys' games 1 and 2, or was there a little bit of something else on top of that?
Yeah, I would say it definitely affected us with Bob, like playing a different game. We all needed that, 5-minute warm up, but we didn't get it. I'd say there was a bit of nerves too. It's Nace. It's not like it's a bad league or anything. So it's good competition. Yeah. That's all.
And I mean, for the future, obviously you guys you're playing with a different third this semester with Crazy Kai coming in. How do you guys feel with him coming in so far? I mean, just off today, you guys seem to be gelling well enough already, and clearly you're playing first man right now, carrying the team. So how's the team feeling coming into this semester?
We feel good. Kai definitely had to step into a big role since Faded left. There's a bit of nerves considering he was on the second team, so he wasn't playing as high of competition. But so far, we're doing good. Just excited to see what we can do throughout the semester.
Without a doubt, 11s, we'll just hit you with one more question. We'll let you hit the road. Is there anybody you'd like to give a thank you or a shout out to while you're here with us?
Yeah, shout out my boy Kyle. He just had a kid today, so
congrats, Kyle.
Today. Yes, sir. Yeah. Let's
nice.
go, Kyle.
That is awesome.
Yes,
well, hey, 11s, huge congrats, man. Phenomenal performance from you, and I'm sure we'll talk to you soon.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
And with that, folks, as all good things must, Nace Star League comes to an end tonight. It has been a pleasure. Y'all know we've got a whole bunch going on at Nace. It was an amazing night tonight. There's more down the line. And of course, before we close it, I want to thank all of our current sponsors, being CDW, Extra Life, Duncan, Corsair, Mavix, Monster, and BetterHelp. Each and every one of you make what we do here possible, so thank you. As well as a big thank you to all the teams. Y'all make what we do possible. We could not do this without you. And all the people at home watching. We love each and every one of you. Check your posture, drink some water. Don't forget to love each other. We'll see you next week.